Hi, Commodores fans. Falmouth taking on Hyannis today. I'm Joanne alongside my broadcast partners Matt Levine and David Adar. Today is a game that cannot be lost. When you are competing, to be one of those top two spots against Wareham and Katuitt, this is a must-win game. Hyannis at the bottom of our division. So what are our thoughts on today's matchup?
Well, like you said, a must-win game. This is a team that is up there for the worst record in a long time.
Don't sugarcoat it, Matt.
2-19 on the season and 12 straight losses for the Harbor Hawks. One of those wins that they had was against the Commodores here at the Gov a couple of weeks ago. So that can't happen again if you're the Commodores, who have lost 2 straight now after winning 3 in a row, starting to slide back to struggling just a bit offensively. But if they can get back to their winning ways tonight, this is a team you have to pick up a win against. You just can't be – you don't want to be their third win, and you don't want to lose to them twice in the same season. So with the way they're skidding right now, you have to win tonight.
Yeah, this is a Harbor Hawks team that has lost 12 games in a row. So like you said, I'm going to sound repetitive, but this is a must-win game for Falmouth because not only do they have tonight's game, but they have a couple more games remaining this season against Hyannis after tonight. So all in all, any game that Falmouth plays at this point, I consider a almost need-to-win game because we're starting to get to the point where there's less and less games, there's less and less opportunities to jump up in the standings, and as a result, there's less and less time for the Commodores to make a move. So this is a game that Falmouth needs tonight. It's the loss that the Commodores had to Hyannis here a couple weeks ago was a painful one, and we've talked about before how rough it was, but this is an opportunity tonight for them to turn the page on that and get back and also end a little 2-game losing skid that the Commodores are on.
Last week, Falmouth was looking very consistent. They were hot at the beginning of last week, but then they kind of got out of rhythm when they played Harwich and Brewster. What do you think was going wrong for the Commodores to get out of that rhythm?
I think the main thing is the offense lacked. You talk about the 3 wins in a row. The timely hits were there almost every game, hitting with runners on base. That's how you win baseball games. Last night, especially against Harwich, just 1 run scored in the 3rd inning and scoreless before that, scoreless after that. That's not the way that your offense wants to come out, especially when your pitchers are also limiting the damage. Only 4 runs given up, but that's not enough to win when you only score once. So just, again, they have to start hitting with runners on base again because they get guys on with walks. They reach on errors. They reach when they get hit by pitches.
Have a tough time finishing.
Right. When they get on base, the last couple of games have been struggling trying to hit them around to score. So if they can fix that tonight, they'll be back to their winning ways.
Poor Mitchell Stone last night, another quality start from the left-hander out of Oklahoma State, but no run support. Something that's happened in every game that Stone has pitched this season, and that goes to the offense, Matt, that you were talking about there. So Commodores have been getting good starts as of late from their pitchers, but they need the offense behind that, and they've won their last couple of games here at home, which feels good to say because forever we were talking about the losing skid that Falmouth was on here at home. But they've won their last couple of games. It's a gorgeous Sunday night. They'll have a great crowd here and a great atmosphere. And the dugout also has been really into it these last couple of home games. So I think that could be a good offensive spark and a good offensive boost for this Commodores team tonight. Coming back home here after a couple of losses, battling a team that they should win out there, and trying to get back to the things that were working well for them during their winning streak.
Last night, David was able to talk with Luke Boyers, so let's take a look at that interview.
Joined now by Luke Boyers out of TCU. Luke, tonight, your second multi-hit game of the season. What was working for you at the plate?
I had a really good at-bat left-handed, fouled some pitches off. I felt comfortable. I had seen all that he really had to throw. So I felt good in the box. And then right-handed, they've been playing in on the grass, and a great way to get started is a bunt, base hit. And finally they played off a little bit, so I was happy to get one down.
You talk about that bunt. We haven't seen too many bunts from this Falmouth team this season. How much do you guys work on that, and how much experience do you have in bunt positions?
So at school we actually pride ourselves in bunting. We bunt quite a bit, and for reasons like that, if you're not hitting too hot, it's an easy way to get a cheap knock and then kind of get things going. And coaches talk about it, and they really want us to kind of start enforcing it a little bit more.
Falmouth dropping the game tonight has now lost a couple straight to both Brewster and Harwich. How do you guys respond off of a couple of tough nights of baseball?
Well, the good news is we get to play tomorrow. That's the thing about up here. We got a 7-game stretch coming up. We get to play every day. Just got to bring the energy, get some rest tonight, show up tomorrow.
At different times, different people have stepped up for the Commodores. You've seen Tyler Tuthill with his incredible outing with 6 scoreless innings. Chris Armstrong, just being committed to not striking out. There's only about 2.5 weeks left of this season. Who needs to step up to help these Commodores moving forward?
I think Luke Boyers is a guy that can step up. He's the leadoff hitter in the lineup almost every time he's out there, and he's the center fielder, which means he's the captain of that outfield or the voice of that outfield. So if a ball's hit anywhere in the outfield and he wants it, it's his. So just, again, the communication in the field, if he can create that and create that camaraderie as a full unit, they're going to be in a better situation to try and make that run. And again, at the top of the order, he's been getting on base over the last couple of games, whether that's with a walk, a hit by pitch. The hits have been lacking, although he did have 2 last night. So if he can continue that at the top of the order, that's how you start your offense going. He bunted for a hit last night to lead off an inning. That's the way you get guys on base and you bring them around to score. And he's got a lot of speed. So just being a leader, he's a very quiet kid, but if he's able to vocalize himself just a little bit and continue the way he's playing, they'll be in a good spot to make the playoffs.
I'm going to go with a group of guys. I think the bullpen, I'm just going to go with that set of players for Falmouth, because we've seen this summer when the bullpen pitches well, Falmouth is in those games and typically comes out on top. And when the bullpen struggles, it's because they give up leads late and they end up losing the game due to the Commodores as a result. So I think the bullpen really needs to step up. During the 3-game winning streak for Falmouth, that was some of the best pitching that the pen as a whole has had this summer. And we kept talking about that on the broadcast, how well they were pitching. They went 14 1/3 innings during that win streak. Had only given up a couple of hits, 1 total run, and 13 strikeouts during the winning streak. So that's the kind of baseball that Falmouth really relies on this summer and has relied on up to this point. So I think if the bullpen can get back to being really locked down and shut down, because we've seen that the offense can be there and the starting pitching is really starting to come into its own for Falmouth. So you get that last position group to start to, keep showing up on a consistent basis, night in, night out. That could really help pay off for Falmouth down the stretch.
Falmouth taking on a struggling Hyannis in a must-win game tonight. But before I sign off, I want to just say thank you, Matt, and thank you, David, and thank you to all of the production people, all the camera guys, game day, the coaches, the players. This is actually going to be my last game as a Commodore. It is true what they say, when you graduate, you do have to enter the real world, and that is where I'm going to be with Fox Carolina down in South Carolina. I'm very excited, but sad to be leaving the Commodores. But I hope everybody has a great night of baseball. From Joanne Bethay, Matt Levine, and David Adar.
Workers for risking their lives every day, especially during this pandemic. Thank you for giving your lives, time, and energy for those who need your help the most. Your bravery, courage, sacrifice, and dedication is inspiring to all, and we wouldn't have gotten through the past year and a half without you. We would like to give all medical personnel to stand so we can recognize you. Let's give our frontline workers a round of applause. Throwing out the first pitch tonight is Dr. Don O'Malley. Dr. O'Malley has been the team physician for the Falmouth Commodores since 2000, treating over 300 players over that time. He's also been the medical director of the Cape Cod Baseball League since 2019, giving advice and structure when dealing with COVID-19 to all franchises, and he participated in organizing the policies and procedures that had allowed this season to proceed. In addition, he maintains an active orthopedic practice in Falmouth and is known as the Shoulder Doc. Mark, let's show off that shoulder and see a strike.
Nice throw, Don.
Are we doing the anthem? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Singing the national anthem tonight is Notescape, Falmouth's own premier men's a cappella singing group. As we honor our local healthcare workers tonight, we have two members of this group, Dr. Peter Hopewood and Dr. Douglas Mann, who are Falmouth hospital physicians that worked all through the pandemic. This group has been together for over 20 years, singing the great American songbook of the 20th century. They have a special arrangement of the Star-Spangled Banner, so if you'd like to sing along, don't. Just kidding. All patriots are welcome to sing. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your caps And if you wish, join Notescape in the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And now, for those two words we all love to hear, we would like to welcome back Dr. O'Malley, joined by his wife, our own team physician assistant. And the newest addition,
Coming off 2 straight losses, the Falmouth Commodores return home to take on the last place Hyannis Harbor Hawks, who have lost 12 straight games. Welcome into Gov Fuller Field tonight on a beautiful Sunday evening. Matt Levine alongside my broadcast partner, David Hadar, as always. And David, a tough last couple of nights for this Commodores team, but a really big game tonight if they're able to turn things around against a struggling Hyannis Harbor Hawks team.
Tonight is a big game for several reasons for Falmouth, but most of all is to just get back in the win column and do so against a team that, like you mentioned, has lost 12 straight games. Their last win actually came here at Gov Fuller Field in what may have been the toughest loss of the season for this Commodores team back on June 30th. Commodores dropped that contest 5-2, and Hyannis scored 4 runs in the opening inning as Mitchell Stone was really roughed up early in that contest. And the Harbor Hawks came into that game with just 1 win, picked up their 2nd win of the season in that game, and ever since it's been all losses for them. So for Falmouth tonight, this is a big game because you're trying to keep pace with both with both Wareham and Cotuit in the standings and just have an opportunity to make the postseason down the stretch. And these are the kinds of games that you have to win because you can't drop points and drop your record against a team that comes in at 2-19 on the year.
So the last couple of nights for Falmouth, losing to Brewster 8-3 2 nights ago, and then last night a tough loss, only putting up 1 run across and losing 4-1 to the Harwich Mariners, both on the road, where we've seen this team be more successful than here at the Gov. But the last couple of games here at home have been decent for the Commodores, beating Orleans earlier this week, and they're now starting to find their groove here at home with now 2 wins here at the Gov and looking for another one tonight. And like you said, pretty much a must-win game. You just can't be that 3rd win of the season for Hyannis. You don't want to lose to this team twice.
Look back a week ago, and Falmouth was 0-6-1 here at home, and they've won back-to-back games here at the Gov, taking down Orleans 1-0, and then a couple days later taking down the Wareham Gatemen 5-3. And that was the last home game that Falmouth played was against the Gatemen. So they come back here tonight. They're still in their black road uniforms, which haven't been too kind to them the last couple of days on the road, but they've been better here at home as of late. So a quality start, which Falmouth has been getting more and more of here over the last couple of weeks, combined with some good timely hitting, which during the win stretch, Falmouth was getting really good timely hitting and just getting guys on and then capitalizing on that. And so if Falmouth can put those 2 recipes together, they'll get some success in tonight's ball game. It's what was working for them during the winning streak, and it can be a way to start a new win streak here tonight against this Harbor Hawks team.
Last night for Falmouth, 1 run on just 5 hits. Luke Boyers had 2 of the hits at the top of the lineup. Braden Taylor added 1. He had the lone RBI. Taylor Smith had a hit and Anthony Hall had a hit. So when we see this team be successful, it's almost every guy in the lineup contributing. Last night, though, just a couple of guys coming through with the bat.
Yeah, last night was a tough night for this offense. The Commodores just 5 hits in the ball game. Their biggest opportunity came in the third when they had runners on second and third with only one gone in the inning. And during that sequence, Harwich made a pitching change, went to the bullpen and brought in Spencer Giesting, and he was absolutely lights out in his 4 2/3 innings last night. But he started it off in that third inning against the Commodores by setting down both Jace Borfin and Chris Armstrong. And the two of them last night went a combined 0 for 8 in that ballgame, which is not something that we're used to saying for this Falmouth team. Borfin has been the best hitter all season long for Falmouth, and Armstrong's been just behind him after his addition to this lineup about 10 or so days ago. So for the two of them, get back to those hits tonight. Braden Taylor last night only went 1 for 4. Another guy we're used to seeing big numbers off of was a little quiet last night. Taylor Smith had a couple times on base, but he couldn't come around to score. So Falmouth just needs to do a better job of putting balls in play and getting hits, because last night the Mariners the Mariners pitching staff combined for a total of 13 strikeouts in the ballgame. So nearly half of the outs when Falmouth stepped to the plate, they couldn't even put a ball in play.
9 of the last 15 hitters retired in order were via the strikeout last night offensively for Falmouth. But tonight, they'll look at Mason Pelio to make the start. His 3rd start of the season and his 5th appearance, and he picked up the win in his last outing out of the bullpen, going 2 innings here at home against Orleans just a couple of days ago earlier this week. 2 innings, just 1 hit allowed, no runs, a walk, and a strikeout, and he faced 8 hitters. Really cruised through that outing against the Orleans Firebirds, and tonight making his 3rd start where we've seen him struggle just a bit over the last 2 starts that he's had.
Well, hopefully that outing from the bullpen can turn into some success for him, because, like you said, he's been roughed up in some of his outings this season for Falmouth. Before that bullpen stint against Orleans just 6 or so days ago, he had given up at least 2 runs in all of his appearances, and at most is 4. So he didn't give Falmouth opportunities to really win those ball games, and all those appearances for him have come here at home at the Gov. So those runs, not only he was giving them up to the opposing team, but he was also giving them up early because he was the starter, and that just ended up putting Falmouth in a hole early. They couldn't come back and ended up dropping those ball games. So an opportunity tonight for the Boston College product to come back on the mound. You know, after that bullpen stint, he's probably feeling a lot better on this home mound, so he's more comfortable, and he'll try and do so against this Hyannis team.
Tonight, the Harbor Hawks coming in, losing 12 straight games. Their record on the road is 1-8. Their record against the Commodores, 1-2. So one of their 2 wins has come against this team, and it came right here at the Gov. This is their 23rd game of the year, 2-19. For Falmouth, their 22nd game of the year coming into tonight, 8-10-2 on the season. We'll get to more about all the playoff projections and everything like that throughout tonight's broadcast. But leading things off for Hyannis will be Clark Elliott, the right fielder out of the University of Michigan. Elliott was not with the team the last time, or any of the 3 games that these 3 teams met. And the first pitch tonight is a fastball in the outside corner for a strike, and we're underway. 6:04 here tonight. Beautiful night in Falmouth, a sunny evening. And the 0-1 from Pelio. Big swing and a miss from Elliott. And now he's behind 0-2. .79 degrees and sunny here at first pitch. And the 0-2 to Elliott. Fastball fouled away, 95 miles an hour. That's the hardest of the 3 pitches so far for Pelio. And he's still ahead 0-2.
A good early outing here for Pelio. Granted, just a couple pitches in, but it's been all strikes so far from the right-hander.
0-2 once more. Comes up high with the changeup and misses for a ball, now 1-2. Elliott, this is his 10th game for the Harbor Hawks, hitting .294, which currently leads the team. 10 for 34 through 9 games so far. 1-2. Fastball grounded on 1 hop to the sliding first baseman Armstrong. His toss over to Pelio, covering the bag, is in time. That's a really tough play on 1 short hop for Chris Armstrong, but he's been really good defensively at first base this season.
He sure has been, and early on this season, there was a lot of talk about the fact that Falmouth kept going back and forth between different first basemen, but that position has really been locked down by Armstrong over since he joined the team a couple weeks ago, and so when he's there, he's getting better and better every night. Really good play by him, also battling the sun over there at first as he's got the shades on, so a good first out for this Commodores team.
First pitch to Caden Rose, hits him in the knob of the bat. And that's fouled away almost all the way down 90 feet to the first base bag, but dangerous up in the zone. And luckily for Pelio, it's a strike. Luckily for Caden Rose, he didn't get hit in the face, and he takes it off for a foul ball. Rose comes into tonight hitting .203 on the year, this being his 22nd game. He's the only player on the entire roster to play in all 22 games so far. Now behind in the count 0-2. 0-2 pitch to Rose. Fastball just misses outside. Now 1-2. Pelio's really liking that fastball early in this outing.
Yeah, going to it a lot, and it's working for him. So, don't fix it if it's not broken, and it hasn't been yet.
Now the 1-2. Breaking ball misses low and away. Count is even at 2-2. Rose 16 hits on the year, which leads the team. 79 at-bats also leads the team by quite a lot. As he lines the 2-2 into left field, and it drops in for a base hit. Anthony Hall scoops it up and gets it in. There's a one-out base runner in the first hit of the night. Caden Rose with another single, his 17th hit of the year.
Well, Caden Rose has been a good hitter for this Hyannis team all season long, and despite getting behind in that at-bat, able to put one in play, solid contact off the bat into left center field, and that drops down for the first base hit of the game for Hyannis.
Here's Luke Mann, the DH tonight, out of Missouri, as Rose leads off first. Righty-lefty matchup, and Pelio out of the stretch for the first time. Fastball is popped up to the right side. Borfin going over to his left a few steps. He's got it lined up, makes the catch, trying to tag up, and now slamming the brakes is Caden Rose. Good throw from Borfin to second base. Probably an idea for Rose there to just come off the bag and force a throw, hoping it would get away, and then he could take second. But Borfin with a really nice way to line that up in right field to make the catch and then get it into second with a good throw.
Was a good throw, and you think, too, that some guys like to – that ball wasn't in a position to, but some guys like to, time it up so that their momentum can take them towards the bag. But there, Borfin comes under that one, and an easy grab for out number 2 alongside the strong throw.
First baseman Zane Harris stands in, left-handed hitter tonight. 2 down here in the top of the first with Rose off first base. And the first pitch fastball misses away. Left to right in the outfield for the Commodores tonight. Anthony Hall in left, Luke Boyers in center, Jace Borfin in right. The infield, Braden Taylor at third, Casey Harford making his Commodores debut at shortstop, Michael Curiali at second, Chris Armstrong at first. Behind the dish tonight, Jonathan French. And on the mound, Pelio. Gets a swing and a miss with a fastball low and in the zone. And Harris evens himself up 1-1.
It's funny to look out on this field and see somebody other than Cody Colden standing at short for the Commodores here tonight. But Colden getting the day off, and finally we get to see Casey Harford, who was added to this Commodores team yesterday before their game against against the Mariners.
Pelio with a pickoff attempt over to first, and back in safely is Rose. Rose, the shortstop, or the center fielder, rather, for Hyannis, and leads the team in stolen bags with 5 currently. 1-1, and Rose takes off. Up in the zone, fastball thrown down and off of the glove of Harford into center field. And Boyers with some good backup in center. And his 6th stolen base of the year, Caden Rose gets into scoring position with 2 down.
On cue there for you, Matt, as you called that one kind of, but not a great throw from Jonathan French. It took Harford away from the bag, and so he couldn't even come up with the ball. But even if he did, he would have had to reach all the way across and come diagonally down a pretty good distance to try and make the tag. And if the throw was there, I think it would have beaten Rose, but it was just too far outside the bag.
So 2-1 the count on the hitter Harris as he waves at a fastball low and away. Count now 2-2. Harris hitting .212 on the season in his 16th game of the year. 11 for 52 at the plate. And despite all that size, just one long ball so far on the season and 6 runs batted in. Rose in scoring position, though, here with 2 outs as Pelio looks to get out of the inning. Grounded to the left side. Harford gets his first ground ball and makes the running throw easily to retire the side. Mason Pelio gives up 1 single, but Hyannis strands the runner Caden Rose on second, and we go to the bottom of the first. Commodores coming to bat, scoreless here at the Gov. Commodores come to bat for the first time tonight here in the bottom of the first. Jono Scalero on the mound tonight out of Florida State, the junior left-hander.
The center fielder from Texas Christian University.
Making his 8th appearance of the season, Scalero is his 2nd start. And in his last start against Bourne, he went 5 scoreless innings and just gave up 1 hit and struck out 7 to no walks. Boyer stands in from the right side and takes a first pitch strike. So to blank the Bourne Braves, the best team in the league, for 5 innings, just 1 hit and 7 strikeouts. But the Harbor Hawks couldn't hold on, losing that game 5-1. That was on July 13th.
Well, if you look at all of his outings this season, Scalero's been about as good as they come by. He's pitched a total of 12 innings, an ERA of .75, so less than 1, while also striking out 13 to just walking 5 on the year. So this is a Harbor Hawks team that is ranked last or near last in most categories here in this year's season, and a lot of them included in pitching. But Scalero has been one of the bright spots for this team here in 2021.
Boyer's last night 2 for 4, a couple of singles, one of them a bunt single, trying to break out of that little slump. The 2-2. High fastball checked his swing, and now the count's full. Scalero, one of the older guys here on the Cape. August 3rd, 1998, his birthday, so the day before the last regular season game. this season. And Boyers gets punched out on the outside corner with a changeup. Didn't like the call, but there's one down and another strikeout for Scalero, his 14th of the season in 12 1/3 innings.
From Texas Christian University, number 20.
Tough placement there for Boyers to come up with anything. If he tried to put bat to ball, that ball was on the outside part of the plate. So for Boyers, that's a tough pitch to go down on, and he obviously didn't like the call, as there's now one gone.
Braden Taylor stands in. Lefty-lefty matchup, and the breaking ball crosses the outside part of the plate for a strike. Taylor,
Boyers with a similar reaction there, or Taylor, excuse me, with a similar reaction to Boyers, shaking his head in frustration at the early strike zone here from the home plate umpire.
0-1, stroked right back up the middle. Caden Rose moves back and makes the catch over his head. But another good piece of hitting for Braden Taylor, which we've seen every single night so far this summer.
Yeah, that's a well-hit ball there, and if you continue to have swings like that, eventually you're going to get some to fall and drop in your favor. But that ball just a little too much on a line to Caden Rose out in center field, and just not nearly enough behind it to get it over his head.
2 outs now here in the first, and Borfin stands in, takes the first pitch on the outside corner for a strike. Borfin hit in the 5 spot for most of the season, now has been in the 3 spot over the last week or so, and the breaking ball misses away. Last night, a rare 0 for 4 for Jace Borfin against Harwich. A couple of pop-outs, a fly-out, and a strikeout. Swings through the 1-1 breaking ball, now behind in the count 1-2. His average has dropped over the last week from 340 to now 286, though still really being a productive hitter for the Commodores. 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball fouled away into the Commodores' dugout. So Borfin staying alive.
You talk about being that productive hitter. I think you go back to last night. We mentioned it in the pregame, and Falmouth had 13 strikeouts in last night's ball game. But Borfin only had 1. He put balls in play and made the defense have to get the out the harder way.
Borfin drives one into right field. Going back is Elliott, and he lines it up just in front of the fence as he makes contact with the wall for the 3rd out of the bottom of the 1st. Commodores go down in order, but a couple of hard-hit balls from Taylor and Borfin. And before we head to the 2nd, we'll toss it up to the Crow's Nest with our sideline reporter, Joanne Bethay.
Thanks, Matt. As you said, I'm up here in the Crow's Nest, and you should have seen the climb I had to do to get up here. Not ideal in a skirt and blazer, but nevertheless, just an incredible view up here. You know, as a kid, when they ask you what superpower you want to have, mine was always that I wanted to fly, and this just reassures me why I thought that. I just love being able to see everything up here, and it's honestly very quiet up here, so you get to just be one with the game, and it's just very awesome being up here, and I'm glad I can report to you the views from up here.
There, but I've been up there once. Not during a game, and it was quite the view. Still hoping that we can get a camera up there to get some angles mid-game.
I got to find a way to get up there because I haven't been up there yet, and despite the sun, it looks like one of the best spots in the ballpark to watch the game from. Just the elevation that you're at up there, the angle you get looking down at the field, and you just kind of get to look over the entire crowd and survey everything here at the Gov.
That Crow's Nest was used for what used to be, this field was a high school football field for the local high school here in Falmouth, and that was where the broadcasters would sit, the PA announcer would sit up at the top, so you're elevated to watch the football game, but there's no use for that anymore. So I think people can rent it out, I'm assuming, but to have, maybe we'll do a broadcast from up there one night.
We were talking about that in the preseason. I would love to. It'd be a logistical nightmare trying to set that all up, but that would be so much fun. Joanne looks like she's having a good old time up there.
So now we move into the 2nd. Scoreless here at the Gov. Kyle Ball, the 5-hitter, stands in. Dom Johnson behind him. Mason Greer also due up in the inning. And Ball, the shortstop, takes high for a ball. Ryan Romano hits 8th tonight at second base, and Ryan Proto behind the dish bats 9th. And the 1-0 pitch to ball. Lined foul to the right side and out of play. Ball struggling at the plate through 19 games so far. 10 for 66. Hitting 152. Hard fastball from Pelio misses high and away.
Just up and down for this Hyannis team. It's been a struggle at the plate this season and really all around. Hyannis hitting as a team 194 on the year. And that's last in the league alongside their 63 runs that they've scored on the season, the 10 home runs that the team has hit. It's been a rough stretch for this team here in 2021.
And a 5-pitch walk to start off this second inning. Not too many positives offensively for Hyannis, and defensively equally as struggled, I would say, leading the league with 31 errors committed in the field.
That was a category that was held by Falmouth earlier this season, was most errors in the league, but Commodores have cleaned that up a little bit over these last couple of weeks and have been better defensively.
So Pelio out of the stretch with ball on first. Johnson cranks one into left field. Hall goes back a few steps. He'll look up and watch that thing fly over the left field wall. A 2-run homer for Dom Johnson. His second home run of the year, his 5th and 6th RBIs of the season, and it's 2-0 Hyannis in the top of the second.
Man, that ball was absolutely smoked out to left field. Off the bat, Anthony Hall didn't even run too much over to his right. He just kind of watched it and saw it sail out of the glove as Falmouth now falls behind early in this ball game to Hyannis. This is what doomed the Commodores against the Harbor Hawks in their last meeting here, the second and also last win of the season for Hyannis.
Mason Greer now ahead in the count 1-0. That ball ripped off the bat of Dom Johnson. That was on the inner half of the plate to him, and he got his hands through it and just torched it over the left field wall. Soft grounder to the second baseman, Curiali. Fields it running towards first base to get his momentum there, and then tosses it over to Armstrong for the first out.
Going back to Dom Johnson, that base hit, or that home run for him, gives him now a 6-game hitting streak. So he continues that tonight. But this is interesting. Now he has 5 total at-bats on the season here at the Gov. One of them a home run and the other a triple. So he's finding ways to get around the base paths and really do some damage against the Commodores.
Here's Ryan Romano, the 8-hitter. Behind in the count 0-1. So the fence that's in play down the left field line, there's also a fence, I would say, about 30 to 40 feet behind it as well. That's the second fence to block any balls going from the road. But Dom Johnson's ball, or home run ball, bounced once and then hit that second fence. So that if that gives you any kind of idea of how hard that ball was hit, it also got out in a hurry. One-two pitch to Romano. Breaking ball, gets a swing and a miss. And there's the first strikeout of the night for Mason Pelio, and there's 2 gone in the second.
And fortunately for Falmouth, there's a lot of time left in this ball game, so no need to panic or anything yet. But the other thing, too, is that Hyannis has had a lot of games this summer where they've jumped ahead early, and the bullpen hasn't been able to keep things up. And we talk about Falmouth's bullpen struggles, but the bullpen struggles for the Harbor Hawks have been even greater. So we can get into that more once they go there, but that's a reason of optimism for Falmouth in this ball game.
Proto takes for a ball. Now he's ahead 1-0. It's been sort of the same story for Mason Pelio throughout his starts. Gives up just one mistake and a couple runs early, and then hasn't had the offense come back for him. This being his 3rd start of the season.
Really good breaking ball from Pelio makes it 1-1. Proto, the hitter behind the dish tonight out of UMass Lowell, hitting .231 on the season, this being his 6th game. Has 3 hits so far through 5 games. And the appeal down to first base to Rich Gatane. Say he went around on the check swing, so it's 1-2. Kevin Coughlin calls balls and strikes. Brendan Johnson at third base tonight. And the appeal down to first say he did not go around this time, so the count evens up at 2-2. Two outs here in the second, and the 2-2 pitch. Ripped through the left side on one hop and into left field for a 2-out single. The 9-hitter Proto with his 4th hit of the season in his 6th game. And the Harbor Hawks have a 2-out base runner.
Well, the Harbor Hawks have been all over Pelio here in the first couple of innings. Already their 3rd base hit of the night, 4th base runner to reach for the team. And like you said earlier, Matt, for Pelio this summer, it's just kind of been 1 or 2 things that haven't gone his way, and that's ended up haunting him down the stretch. And so, you know, for him here, try and lock down, find a way to get this last out and get out of the inning on a high note by stranding a base runner.
Elliott fouls the first pitch back over the left side and out of play. Pelio, the junior right-hander out of Boston College. Clark Elliott, the sophomore outfielder out of Michigan. Elliott went 1 for 5 last night against Chatham in the leadoff spot. Started 41 of his 43 appearances for the Wolverines this past season. 0-1 pitch. Good changeup from Pelio. Now it's 0-2. Elliott's been a mainstay up at the top of that order, or in the lineup in general for Michigan throughout his career. As a true freshman in 2020, he started all 15 games in right field and started nearly every game this season. Fouls the 0-2 into the Hyannis dugout.
Proto over on first. A bit fortunate there that was a foul ball from Elliott because Proto started running towards second to try and steal the bag and ended up slipping and falling. And so he ended up catching himself, but that could have been a potential out for Falmouth to get out of this inning.
Shortstop Harford closer to the bag at second than Curiali is. And it's sliced into left field shallow. Going back is Harford. He dives and can't make the catch as it drops into shallow left. Anthony Hall right there to pick it up and get it into Braden Taylor at third. An opposite field bloop single for Clark Elliott. And there's 2 men on with 2 outs in the second.
Well, this has got to be frustrating for Pelio, but one thing that also makes it worse for him is the heat out on the field today. In the high 70s here and not too many clouds in the sky. So even though the mound over there is in the shade now, you know, for most of this inning, it's been exposed in the sun. And so Pelio not only has to contend with trying to get these outs, but also trying to avoid getting too frustrated with the heat around him and just a multitude of factors to battle here against this Harbor Hawks team.
So now with the right-hander up in Caden Rose, Curiali, the second baseman, plays closer to the bag at second, and Harford plays off into the hole deeper at short. So if Clark Elliott, who just had a bloop single that way, was a right-handed hitter, it likely would have been caught by the shortstop Harford. But because he was so close to the bag at second, had a tough time sprinting over there and then had to dive and couldn't catch the ball in shallow left.
It was a good hustle, though. He wasn't too far from it. It just was a perfectly placed ball off the bat of Elliott.
Rose 1 for 1 tonight, and he grounds a chopper over to the third baseman Taylor. He steps on the bag and decides to throw to first anyway. So 4 outs now for Braden Taylor with that inning-ending double play that only counts as 1 out. Maybe he didn't know how many outs there were. I don't know if he wanted to just do that for fun. But Mason Pelio allows a 2-run shot to Dom Johnson, and now Hyannis leads 2-0 as we go to the bottom of the second. Dom Johnson, the difference so far tonight, a 2-run shot in the top half of the second, and now the bottom half of the second will be led off by Chris Armstrong, followed by Taylor Smith and Anthony Hall. And then if it gets there, Michael Curiale in the 7 spot, Jonathan French in the 8 spot tonight behind the dish, and Casey Harford, the shortstop, bats 9th. So Armstrong batting from the right side of the plate, as the switch hitter does. He's been having a hot bat and leads the team now in hitting in terms of average, and takes the first pitch away from Scalero. Average at 303 for the Florida Gator. This is his 11th game of the year. He's got 10 hits in 10 games. And the 1-0 breaking ball popped up into shallow center. Rose moves in, now backpedals a couple of steps, now makes the catch for the first out. 4 up, 4 down for Scalero through an inning and a third.
And Falmouth putting balls in play. 3 of the 4 outs so far have been recorded by fielders, but just can't get one to fall so far. That's what we talked about with Scalero. He's been so successful in different ways of getting guys out. He does strike a lot of guys out, but on top of that, he just doesn't allow base runners that often.
Taylor Smith, the DH tonight, to get him off his feet behind home plate, but also keep his bat in the lineup. Last night went 1 for 3 and was hit by a pitch, had a double that led off the 4th inning. So he's been swinging a much better bat of late than he did to start the season. A lot of that has come with some home runs and a couple of doubles as well. 1-0 pitch to Smith. Waves at the breaking ball on the outside corner. Hitting .206 on the year in his 13th game of the season. Has 7 total hits, 5 of them for extra bases, 3 home runs and 2 doubles. And the 1-1. Good take by Taylor Smith. Now the count 2-1. Commodores winners of 2 straight here at home. 2-6-1 they are now at the Gov after starting 0-6-1. And the 2-1 pitch bounced into Smith, and he lays off. Now 3-1.
You think after Falmouth loses its next home game, which obviously we hope it doesn't, but whenever that next happens, if it does, they'll go back to their typical home uniforms? Or you think they keep riding with the road uniforms here at home?
I don't know. It's a good question, because the road uniform, they've been still wearing these black ones on the road with a couple of losses. And Smith swings through a 3-1 fastball, now 3-2. So maybe they'll switch it up completely and go white jerseys on the road and black at home. I don't know what they're going to do, but whatever works, that's what they've been trying to do. Very superstitious. The whole mustache frenzy going on.
I'll say this. Tonight's a little bit of a hybrid because, and I'm trying to remember back to the last couple of nights, Falmouth actually wearing its white pants tonight, which is part of the home uniform. So they're wearing the black jerseys, but they're going with the home pants, which I don't remember if that's how it was. It was like that? Okay. Yeah, so keeping that look going.
3-2 breaking ball fouled off by Smith. A couple of foul balls now in a full count, and he stays alive. Smith has 16 strikeouts on the season and 8 walks. Anthony Hall on deck. And the 3-2 once more. Fastball fisted foul to the right side. Into the bleachers. It's a nice souvenir, as long as it didn't hit anybody. So Smith with 3 straight foul balls now with a 3-2 count. Decent crowd on hand here tonight after some rain was expected earlier in the day, but it really never happened. Got some mostly sunny, high 70s weather here in Falmouth tonight.
Gorgeous night for baseball.
Always is. 3-2 again. And Taylor Smith goes down swinging for the second out and the second strikeout.
Well, a good at-bat there from Taylor Smith. Continued to fight foul balls off. But in the end, Scalero wins that battle, and Taylor Smith, the second out of this inning for the Commodores.
Anthony Hall stands in, the left fielder tonight. Batted in the 8th spot last night, hits in the 6th spot tonight. Went 1 for 2. The run scored and a walk. Had a double and scored to lead off the 3rd inning last night against Harwich, and he takes the first pitch strike. Hall hitting .220 on the year in his 20th game of the season, just one full day off for the Oregon Duck this summer. And he lines one right at the shortstop, Kyle Ball, who makes the lunging grab, moving to his left. A couple of hard-hit balls, but still nothing doing. 6 up and 6 down for the Commodores as we move to the 3rd inning. It's 2-0 Hyannis. Pelio looks for a bounce-back inning here in the top of the 3rd, trailing 2-0 to the Harbor Hawks. 4 hits for Hyannis tonight, and 2 runs came across on one swing of the bat from Dom Johnson. And the heart of the order due up here in the 3rd, 3, 4, and 5. Luke Mann 0 for 1 tonight with a fly out to right field his first time up. Will stand in to lead things off in the 3rd. First pitch, Mann pops it up to the left side and shallow left. Hall moves in, calls off the shortstop Harford, and makes the grab. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the top of the 3rd.
Well, not too bad there for Pelio, who hasn't had too much rest in between the innings. Commodores still with nobody to reach tonight, and a quick inning that the pitcher for Hyannis, Scalaro, was able to work back in the bottom of the 2nd. So Pelio, not too much rest, but always happy for a pitcher when they're able to get 1 pitch and 1 out.
Zane Harris stands in 0 for 1, grounded out to the shortstop. Harford his first time up. The redshirt junior infielder from Wright State. 6'5", 250 pounds over at first base for Hyannis. And the 1-0 from Pelio. Breaking ball misses low. Harris has been at Wright State since 2018 when he hit .342 as a true freshman, hit .298 in 2019, hit .206 in 2020. So has pretty much trickled down throughout his time at Wright State. His batting average has gone down. Now ahead in the count, 3-0. Been at Wright State since 2017, rather, but didn't play in 2017, didn't play in 2021. Now the count 3-1. So 3 years of playing in his first year, and then in 2021 sandwiched by that. Didn't get it into a ball game. Still a redshirt junior due to a redshirting a year and the COVID year as well, as he lines it into left field. Hall lines it up and makes the catch easily in the gap for the 2nd out.
Couple of quick outs here for Mason Pelio, and Anthony Hall busy out in left field here in this 3rd inning. He's made both of the outs for the Commodores, but handling them with ease out there. as he, to an extent, has the shadows out there that he has to navigate his way around. But nonetheless, a couple of quick outs here for Pelio.
Hall had to come in for the first one in the inning from Luke Mann and then had to go back into the gap from Harris. Here's Kyle Ball. And a good pitch from Pelio, but missed inside. It's 1-0. Ball, the shortstop out of Stetson. Played last summer in the Florida Collegiate League. Soft grounder over to third, but it's fouled off of his leg for the first strike. It's now 1-1. Last night, Kyle Ball batted third in the order. Tonight, batting fifth. Went 1 for 3 with a walk and a strikeout. One pitch from Pelio. Good breaking ball. That time on the inside corner for a strike, and it's 1-2. Now the 1-2 quickly from Pelio. Gets a breaking ball down in the dirt, and a swing and a miss from Ball, and slapping the tag on him with just the baseball is Jonathan French. So his first 1-2-3 inning of the night here in the top of the third, and we're through 2.5 at the Gov. It's 2-0 Harbor Hawks. It's been very easy so far for Jonas Scalero on the mound tonight. And he'll face the bottom third of the order here in the bottom of the third. Curiali, Jonathan French, and Casey Harford will have his first plate appearance as a Commodore. 6 up, 6 down so far through 2 innings. Curiali lays off the first pitch, but a fastball in the outside corner for a strike.
Not only has Scalero been locked in, but on most of the batters tonight has dropped in a first pitch strike, so getting ahead early, which is always important for a pitcher.
Curiali last night batted in the 6th spot and struck out 3 times, went 0 for 4. The other was a fielder's choice. Leads the team with 26 strikeouts. And the 1-1. Nasty breaking ball, delayed call of a strike, and it's 1-2. A lot of movement from the left-hander Scalero. The fastball sits in the high 80s, but can deal up that breaking ball as well, and the changeup. Infield plays back all around with nobody out here in the bottom of the third. And the 1-2 pitch. Misses away for a ball. It's 2-2. Curiali hitting .224 on the season. Appearing in his 21st game of the year. Fouls away the 2-2, and he stays alive. Jace Borfin and Michael Curiali, only players to appear in all 21 games up to this point. And Braden Taylor right behind them with 20 appearances. Anthony Hall as well. 4 of those guys have been pretty much every night contributing to the Commodores' bats. 2-2. Breaking ball grounded to the left side. Another foul ball. That's 2 straight, and Curiali stays alive with a count of 2-2.
Getting those consecutive playing days so important for these guys, because at the collegiate level, you often play 3 games in a weekend and then typically a midweek contest too. But to play every day like this, more like a big leaguer, so you get used to that flow.
Curiale goes down swinging at the breaking ball, his 27th strikeout of the season. And there's 1 out. 7 up and 7 down for Scalero on the mound tonight. He's got 3 strikeouts.
And if you go back to last night for Falmouth, that's now 18 straight batters that have been, or excuse me, I can't do math on a fly like this, but a lot in a row that have been retired for the Commodores.
Well, it was 15 retired in order last night.
Plus
Tonight,
7.
So 22.
22, yeah.
My mom taught me that math. Kindergarten teacher. No, I'm kidding. 1-0 the count to French, and he takes it on the outside corner for a strike. French got the day off last night with Taylor Smith catching. Got the day off at Brewster as well. So was last in the lineup on Thursday night. That was here at home against Wareham. Batted in the 6th spot and went 1 for 2. Single and a run. He had a walk and a sacrifice bunt as well. French said he really doesn't get asked to bunt too much at Clemson. As the 2-1 misses upstairs, now 3-1 to French. I think he jokingly said to us that the one time he tried to bunt, he blew out his hamstring at Clemson. I don't know if that was serious or not, but
yeah, I wonder with that one, but it doesn't surprise me that he's a guy who hasn't dropped down too many bunts in his career.
Pops up the 3-1 behind home plate, foul territory, and it drops in behind the fence and the backstop. So now the count full to Jonathan French. 2-0 the score here. The only difference, Dom Johnson's 2-run homer in the second. A couple of scoreless frames for Pelio on the mound, and 7 straight guys retired by Scalero. Harris plays off the bag at first and back, and the 3-2 pitch to French. Breaking ball just misses high for a ball, and the first base runner of the night is Jonathan French via a walk here in the 3rd.
That was a close pitch for French to take, but a ball that Scalero delivers home. So, like you said, Matt, first base runner of the game for the Commodores off the 6th walk of the season from Scalero. Good job by French in that at-bat to get ahead early, something that the Commodores haven't done too much of tonight when they've been at the plate. But French able to do so there, and he ends up getting on base.
So here's Casey Harford, his first plate appearance as a Commodore, with French on first and 1 out in the 3rd. First pitch swinging, hits it high in the air to left. Lining it up is Dom Johnson, and he's got it. And French will retreat back to first. So 1 pitch and 1 swing of the bat for Harford at the University of Tennessee Martin. And now there's 2 away.
Well, new guys still arriving for the Commodores and across the league, despite the fact that we're in the back half of the season at this point. So Harford looks to make an impact here for the Commodores through the rest of the summer and try and get them back into a playoff spot.
Now Luke Boyer's back at the top of the order. Takes the first pitch, breaking ball low. He struck out looking his first time up in the bottom of the 1st. 1 time through the order so far. 8 guys retired and just 1 walk allowed for Scalero. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 3rd, and he steps off the rubber. It's just the 2nd game out of the 4 between these 2 teams that Boyers is appearing in. Still looking for that first hit against Hyannis this season. Heading the count, 2-0. Boyers is the switch hitter. And the 2-0 pitch. Takes on the outside corner for a strike. Another wide zone called for a strike by Kevin Coughlin behind the plate.
And that's how Boyers went down in the 1st, was a ball on the outside part as he went down looking. So Boyers having to adjust during these couple of at-bats.
Now swings through the changeup on the outside corner, and now it's 2-2. Boyers, the freshman out of TCU, will be a rising sophomore for the Horned Frogs. It's crazy to believe him and Braden Taylor up at the top of this lineup the entire season. Teammates in college. Just a couple of freshmen. 2-2 breaking ball grounded foul to the right or left side rather. And the count stays 2-2. So TCU really lucky to have Boyers and Taylor already the Big 12 Freshman of the Year, all freshman team, second team all conference, making a really big impact in his first season in Fort Worth.
Sure is. And I mean, TCU, one of the well-known baseball schools out there, so they're at a good spot for their future.
Boyers swings at the pitch on the outside corner and goes down on strikes for the second time tonight. So just one base runner allowed in the walk from Jonathan French. But other than that, Scalero's been cruising through 3. And through 3 innings so far, it's 2-0 Hyannis as we go to the 4th. Dom Johnson set to lead things off here in the 4th as Mason Pelio through 3 innings so far. Just 4 hits allowed and 1 2-run blast from Dom Johnson, who now stands in. So it's been a couple of scoreless innings where Pelio's only allowed 1 base runner and then no base runners. The second was where he allowed 3 hits and a walk. Johnson shows bunt, gets it down the third base side, but foul all the way. So after hitting a 2-run homer his first time up on the first pitch, he bunts on the next pitch that he sees in his first pitch here in this at-bat. Johnson recently, last week, announcing on June 22nd, a couple of weeks ago rather now, decision to transfer to Kansas State from Oklahoma State, so staying in the Big 12. Tried to offer on that bunt, so he's behind 0-2. I always wonder what it's like for guys who transfer within their conference, then they have to play at or against their old school. As Johnson waves at the breaking ball low, gets tagged by French for another strikeout, and the first out of the inning here in the 4th.
Well, a lot of conferences, it's interesting, used to not allow you to transfer within your conference itself. You had to stay outside. So, if I was in the Big 12 and I wanted to transfer, I couldn't go to another Big 12 school. I'd have to go to the ACC or the SEC or something else. So it's great to see that these guys now have complete freedom of movement. Part of the thing that came from the new legislation from the NCAA allowing the one-time transfer without having to sit out a season.
0-1 pitch. Breaking ball misses high to Mason Greer, who's 0 for 1 tonight. And just to be able for Johnson, whenever he does get to play against Oklahoma State again, not again, but go back to Oklahoma State to play against them for the first time, probably going to be a pretty cool feeling. But see some of those old teammates play against them, be opponents. It's similar to here on the Cape when you face off against your teammates and old teammates, things like that. But it's got to be just a little different when you're now rivals in a conference.
I definitely would think so. And I mean, here on the Cape, everybody is all smiles at the end of the day, but it's different during the actual college baseball season when you've got maybe a little more of a competitive edge to you.
So a full count now to Greer, the freshman infielder, announcing his transfer to Missouri State, and he lines one into right field for a base hit here with one out in the 4th inning. Another hard hit ball off Pelio, but mainly singles tonight. Just that one home run has been the difference.
Now batting the second baseman, number 30, Ryan Romano.
Ryan Romano now stands in. He's 0 for 1 with a strikeout, swinging his first time up. Out of Florida State, the sophomore infielder. Went 0 for 4 in the 9 spot last night with 2 strikeouts. Gets bumped up 1 spot to the 8 hole tonight. And he swings through a fastball in the inside corner for a strike. Behind in the count 0-1. Romano started his college career at St. John's River State College. Then transferred to Florida State. Grounds it foul to make it 0-2. So Scalero on the mound out of Florida State. And Romano, his second baseman, teammates with the Seminoles. It's got to be fun as an infielder playing behind one of your teammates from college here in the summer. 0-2 breaking ball just missed outside. Now 1-2.
Any opportunity to get to see teammates from school, be with them here on the Cape is definitely got to be a great feeling. And, it's a good bonding opportunity, too, for when you go back to campus in the fall.
1-2 breaking ball called. Strike 3 on the inside corner. 2 strikeouts in the inning. Now 2 outs here in the 4th. And 4 Ks tonight for Mason Pelio so far.
Well, I'll say ever since the second, Pelio a little more locked into this ball game. He had a 1-2-3 third inning, and then here in the 4th, he gave up the single to Mason Greer. But otherwise, he's had a couple of strikeouts, and 3 of his 4 strikeouts have come over the last inning in a third or so. So he's getting a little more comfortable on the mound, and that's allowing him to be a little more successful.
Proto takes the breaking ball well inside. Thought it hit him. I think the glove of French was what caught him in the leg. So he danced his way out of there, and now it's 1-0. Proto out of UMass Lowell and went to high school in Barnstable, so very well known here on the Cape. Evens the count up at 1-1.
Now that's got to be weird, too. Growing up around the Cape Cod League, and then you don't play too far away from here up in Lowell, but then getting the opportunity to come back here, and you're not too far from home in Hyannis, and you also get an opportunity to play in the best summer league in the country.
Well, if his family's still living out here, he doesn't need to have a host family. He gets his own family, so that's an advantage at least. Behind in the count, 1-2, Proto is. Had a single his first time up. And the 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball low. Checked his swing and did not go around. Now it's 2-2. Played hockey and baseball in high school. He broke his high school record for most varsity games played. 2-2 with 2 outs and a runner on first. Here's the pitch. Line foul to the right side. And the count stays put at 2-2.
And that slice brought to you by Supreme Pizza, located just down Route 28 here.
Proto's cousin Mike played baseball at Clemson. Wonder if Jonathan French behind home plate knows that. Pelio set, and the 2-2 once more. Breaking ball grounded to Harford. A long hop off that lip of the grass at shortstop, and he tosses the easy way at second for the inning-ending fielder's choice. Another clean inning for Pelio on the mound, and through 3.5 now, it's 2-0 Hyannis as we go to the bottom of the fourth. Main part of the order coming up for Falmouth, trailing by 2 here in the bottom of the fourth. Matt Levine and David Hadar welcoming you back in to the broadcast from Go Fuller Field tonight. As the sun starts to set a little bit on the third base side and the shadows play a little bit of a factor in the outfield. Braden Taylor will lead things off here in the fourth, 0 for 1 tonight. Lined out into center field his first time up. Takes a breaking ball low and away for a ball. It's 1-0 in the count. Taylor, the freshman of the year in the Big 12 and all Big 12 second team as well for TCU. Started and played in 58 games. 324 average for him. 445 on base percentage. Drove in 53 runs. So nearly had an RBI per game. And now he's behind in the count 1-2. He's reached base here on the Cape in all but 2 of his appearances. So 17 of the 19 appearances coming into tonight for Braden Taylor. He's been on base. Just an incredible number that is. Scalera really working well on the mound so far. Bounces one in off the chest protector of Proto, and now it's 2-2.
There's been some slumps as of late for some of the Commodores, but really as a whole, this top part of the lineup for Falmouth has been really consistent and really solid all season long. Often guys that the Commodores can count on when they step up to the plate and usually, deliver something to help out the team.
2-2 pitch, and Taylor waves at the breaking ball away for another strikeout for Scalera in the first out of the bottom of the fourth. He's now at 5 strikeouts tonight through 3 1/3.
Now batting the right fielder,
Scalero's season high for strikeouts in a game was that start that he had against Bourne 5 days ago on July 13th. And he had 7 in that ball game in 5 innings of work. So already has 5 tonight through 3 1/3. So he's right about on pace with it, maybe just a hair ahead.
Borfin takes the breaking ball up and in for a ball here. It's been that fastball in the upper 80s and then that breaking ball in the upper 70s. Good mix and good mix of locations as well. But now behind in the count to Borfin, 2-0. Borfin, native of Oklahoma, attended Oklahoma his freshman year. All freshman team in the Big 12, but now going to go play at Arkansas. As he waves at a fastball and swings through it, it's 2-1. Clouds looking a little bit heavy beyond the right field wall on the right side. Hopefully that doesn't play too much of a factor here tonight as the lights are still off. Breaking ball fouled away. Now 2-2 the count on Borfin.
It's funny. Last night when we were up in Harwich, we were talking about how hot it was pregame and at the start of the game, and then the fog rolled in and everything just cooled down, and the game had a very different feel. Here all day in Falmouth, it's been sunny and warm and similar thing. Granted, the sun a little more set now than last night when the fog started to roll in, but nonetheless, these clouds rolling in making it feel very different than even a short while ago.
Breaking ball again on the outer half of the plate is a strikeout pitch for Scalero. 2 outs here in the fourth, 3 straight strikeouts for the left-hander, and now 6 on the night.
Now batting the first baseman.
Continuing to cruise out there for Hyannis, a team that hasn't had too much success on the mound this summer, but like we said earlier, Scalero, one of those bright spots for this team, and he's been really locked in tonight.
Armstrong swings at the first pitch, fastball letter high down the middle. The Gator played all of his games either at first base or as the DH for Florida this past season. Team that hosted a regional but couldn't get out of it. They were dominated in their region with Miami, South Alabama. Just a struggle for them. 2 away here in the fourth, and the 1-1 to Armstrong. Off the hands and grounds it foul. A little frustrated with himself, but he's going to readjust his batting gloves. Behind in the count 1-2. He's 0 for 1 tonight. Flied out to center field his first time up. He's a 6'4" switch hitter that can not only hit from both sides of the plate, but can throw with both arms as well. And the 1-2 on the outside corner, another strikeout. Jonas Scalero strikes out the side here in the bottom of the fourth. He's got 7 on the night through 4 innings and 4 straight Ks for him. We're through 4 innings now here tonight at the Gov, and it's 2-0 Harbor Hawks. Yo.
Now batting the right fielder, number 25, Clark Elliott.
Top of the fifth here with Mason Pelio still on the mound. Top of the order here for Hyannis as well as Clark Elliott stands in. Elliott's 1 for 2 tonight with a ground ball back to Pelio his first time up. And a single in the second. Now lines one through the left side, and that drops in off the back of the infield and into left field for a leadoff single. His second hit of the night here in the top of the fifth. He leads things off with a single.
Couple of base knocks to the same part of the field. Both of his singles tonight have been hit to left field, and Anthony Hall's been the recipient of those hits. So Elliott putting those balls in similar field of play, and that's the second time tonight that the Harbor Hawks have the leadoff man aboard. When they did so in the second, that was when they brought home their 2 runs. So this is going to be an important inning here for Mason Pelio.
First pitch to Rose. He lines into right center. Boyers goes over there and makes the catch in the gap. And trotting back to first is Clark Elliott. So a couple of pitches hit hard. One of them drops in for a single. One's fly out to center.
And on that note, too, about this being an important inning for Pelio, there is an arm warming up for the Commodores down in their bullpen. Just in case, I would presume this inning gets away from Pelio, but likely I would assume this is going to be the last inning here for the Commodore starter. I think it's Chuck Harrison warming up, I believe.
Luke Mann, the 3-hitter, stands in. Pick off attempt for Pelio, but nothing doing as Elliott gets back in standing up. 6 hits tonight for Hyannis. Just 2 runs across on 1 swing of the bat from Dom Johnson. Mann 0 for 2 with 2 flyouts, 1 to right field, 1 to left field. Taking off on the pitch was Elliott. The throw down, not in time as he steals second base. Easily diving in there head first. Now runner in scoring position with 1 out for Hyannis. His 3rd stolen base of the summer. Just his 10th game of the year, so Elliott really quick on the bases. Pitch was a ball, and now it's 1-0, and next pitch comes 2-0 now. Man out of Mizzou, redshirt sophomore infielder, started in 38 of his 44 appearances and hit .224 for the Tigers this year. Pelio steps off the mound and looks at Elliott at second. Now he comes set. Takes a look at second. And the 2-0. Grounded to the right side, and it hops foul just next to the first base bag. That was close to being a fair ball if it crossed the base, almost bounced over the base, but it just went foul right in front of it.
And that was going to be a tough play if it was fair for Chris Armstrong over at first. It actually kind of hopped away from him, and I'm not sure if that's because the bounce the ball took or if he just let up. But regardless, a foul ball there for this Hyannis team.
This is the longest outing of the season now for Mason Pelio, 4 1/3. A couple of outings ago, he went 4 innings. 2-1, another swing and a miss. He's been getting pretty good swings and misses, Mason Pelio has, but has been hit hard a couple of times as well. As he continues to attack the strike zone. Just 1 walk tonight issued for Pelio, and that's been a really big difference you can see from him on the mound, and that allows him to go longer in games as well. In his first outing against Bourne, he walked a hitter. Against Harwich, he walked 6 batters in 2 innings. Then against Katuitt, walked a couple, and then only walked 1 against Orleans in 2 innings. Tonight, 1 through 4 1/3, as it's fouled away by Luke Mann. So the count stays full. Hyannis, a team that has really struggled, to say the least, throughout this summer. Their record just 2-19. And they've lost 12 straight. Their last win coming here at the Gov against the Commodores. That was back on June 30th. Elliott leads off second. The 3-2 pitch again, and a really good pitch. Gets the strikeout tipped into the glove of Jonathan French. So Pelio, again, attacking that strike zone, regardless of the count, Has kept him long in this game. Now through 4 2/3. There's 2 away here in the top of the 5th.
That game that Hyannis took down Falmouth, the team's last meeting before tonight, just a really rough game for Falmouth. Commodores gave up 4 runs in the opening inning en route to a 5-2 Hyannis win here at the Gov. And after that first inning, not too many more base runners reached for the Harbor Hawks throughout that ball game, as they only had 7 more base runners through the entirety of the ball game after getting 5 on in the first inning. So Falmouth, those were some of the signs of this team in the early part of the season, was struggle early at home and then kind of get things going in the back half of the ball game. But in that ball game, it was just too much too early on from the Harbor Hawks.
It's crazy to imagine that feels so long ago, June 30th. Now it's July 18th, and Hyannis is winless since that day. On pace right now for the worst finish in a long time in this league.
And it's definitely got to be tough on the team as a whole. I mean, the whole point of these guys being here is to develop and grow. But nonetheless, nobody wants to lose, especially at the rate that the Harbor Hawks have been losing this summer. And so it's, like you said, they don't want to go down in the history books as the worst team in CCBL history. And at the moment, the current worst team, also Hyannis, but back a few years ago.
So since 1967, Hyannis on pace to finish with the worst record in terms of mod win percentage in the league. Mason Pelio gets out of the inning, stranding a runner on second with nobody out. And he gets 2 strikeouts at the back half of the top of the 5th. He's now got 6 Ks on the night. Pelio threw 5 innings, but Commodores still trail 2-0. Five, 6, and 7 due up for Falmouth here in the bottom of the 5th. 2-0 Hyannis so far. 2 runs, both scored in the second inning after the 2-run homer for Dom Johnson. Since then, all zeros for both sides. 2 runs on 6 hits for Hyannis. No runs, and Commodores haven't reached base other than that 1 walk so far tonight. Scalero really cruising on the mound with 7 Ks through 4 innings. Taylor Smith set to lead things off here in the inning. And the first pitch breaking ball is over the outside corner for a strike. Smith struck out swinging in the second inning in the middle of that 1-2-3 inning. Now bats here again in the 5th. He's 1 for 2 in 1 game against Hyannis this season, and he walked as well. Now behind in the count 0-2. Smith, the only Commodore that played here in 2019. And with the lack of catchers that Falmouth has, he and Jonathan French have been really splitting time. And it's been them 2 behind the dish. Fouls it away and stays alive 0-2. It's interesting. Neither of them have really been known as the number one catcher. It's kind of been a couple games, French catches behind home plate. Next to Smith will get, next to French. It's just been really just a rotation between the two guys behind home plate.
Well, it took a while for us to even see one of the catchers come in consecutive nights. It's kind of now turned into every couple of nights the Commodores switch things up, and Jeff Trundy will go from Smith after a couple games back to French, back to Smith. But early on in the summer, it was every night was a different catcher, and that was also still when Jake Meyer was here. So you had 3 catchers for this Commodores team, and things have changed a little bit now with the outlook of the team and everything. But nonetheless, like you said, there has not really been a number one for this team.
Hall foul tips the ball into the glove of Proto behind home plate. He's behind 0-1. Taylor Smith struck out swinging. That's the 8th K for Scalero, and that's 5 straight strikeouts for the pitcher on the mound. Unbelievable stuff so far tonight. With 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th, he's ahead of Hall 0-2. It seems like almost every hitter he's been ahead at least 0-1, and most of them 0-2 as well. So that forces the Commodores hitters to just shorten up and try to foul a couple pitches off until they get one that they can put in play.
I'll say we've seen some impressive performances on the mound here over the last couple of games. There's another strikeout as Anthony Hall goes down. Tonight now you've got Jonah Scalero, who's just locked in, has now struck out 6 straight batters, and in the ballgame has struck out 9 in all. But on top of that, go back to the last home game for the Commodores, and you had Garrett Schmeling from Wareham, who pitched an immaculate inning. So just all around some impressive performances that we're seeing here from some of these pitchers in the Cape League.
Michael Curiali stands in 1-0 the count with 2 away. Scalero out of Florida State, the junior left-hander, was a freshman All-American in 2018. And Curiali pops it up to the right side. First baseman Harris has it lined up, a step into foul territory, and another 1-2-3 inning. That's 2 straight now for the pitcher on the mound, Jonah Scalero. So we end through 5 innings now, and it's 2-0 Hyannis. But before we go to break, we'll send it down onto the field with our sideline reporter, Joanne Bethea, who's alongside the skipper, Jeff Trundy.
Coach, right now offense is stagnant. What is the Hyannis bullpen doing to allow this?
Well, I think the kid's pitching a good baseball game. He's got us off balance. We're swinging a lot of balls out of the zone and, sometimes letting some pretty good pitches go by. But, we just hope we can get a hit or 2 and get this thing going.
Thank you. Back to you.
Thanks, Joanne, and thanks, Coach Trundy. So Trundy electing to take Pelio out after another solid outing from a starter here, but no run support. It's been the same story. The best start of the season for Pelio, but he'll hand it off through 5 innings and just 2 runs, all scored on 1 swing of the bat. He threw 4 scoreless, but he'll hand it off to Chuck Harrison, who we've seen over the last couple of nights here at the Gov.
Yeah, a tough night for the Commodores on the mound. I mean, like you said, another really good start here for a Falmouth pitcher. A little similar last night to what happened with Mitchell Stone up in Harwich, where he pitched well, even though he ended up giving up all 3 of the 4 runs that the Mariners scored in that ball game. But he went 4 innings, allowed 5 hits, and gave up 3 runs, and there was no run support behind him. And similar story tonight. Pelio goes 5 innings, gives up 6 hits, and just 1 walk. But that 1 walk was to Kyle Ball to start off the second, and then the next batter up was Dom Johnson, who wasted no time with the 2-run homer out to left. So that mistake costed the Commodores, and at this point, it's a bummer for Pelio because he had a really good start, but he didn't have the run support behind him, so as it currently stands, he would be in line for the loss.
Now batting the shortstop, number 26.
Harrison making his 6th appearance of this season. He's 0-0 with a 5.62 ERA. Just 1 start, and the other 5 appearances have come all out of the bullpen. He'll face 5, 6, 7 here in the inning in the top of the 6th with a 2-0 deficit to the Harbor Hawks. And the first pitch to Ball is low for a ball. Kyle Ball, the shortstop out of Stetson's 0 for 1 tonight. but walked and scored in the second on that home run from Johnson behind him, who's on deck. Harrison, a couple of outings here at home over the last few home games, and he lines one right off the glove of Harrison to the second baseman, Curiali. The bare hand throw over to first in time. What a play from the Commodores defense. Harrison almost hurled that in with his glove on a comebacker, but it tipped off of his glove, and then Curiali adjusted to sprint in and make the bare hand field and then throw for the 1-4-3 putout.
Couple of UCLA Bruins involved in that play to get the first out of this inning, but like you said, Matt, a really impressive play that Michael Curiali is able to handle out there, and we were talking about this last night, but we've seen him everywhere around the field this summer for the Commodores. But back-to-back nights, he gets the start at second base for Falmouth, and he shows off his speed and a pretty impressive play there to get that first out.
Harrison deals up a changeup away to Johnson. Johnson's 1 for 2 with a 2-run homer in the second and a strikeout in the fourth. Harrison almost caught that comebacker from Kyle Ball. Wasn't hit as hard as it could have been, which is why when it was tipped off the glove, it was so slow to go into second base. Would have gotten the heart racing a little bit more for Chuck Harrison if that ball's hit any harder. So Harrison appearing in the third straight home game of the season. And a fastball dealt up at the knees to Johnson. It's 2-1. Against Wareham on July 15th, just a couple of days ago here at home on Thursday. He went 2 1/3 innings, no hits, no runs, a couple of walks, and a couple strikeouts. Just the second outing that he didn't give up a run in. Fastball comes high and in to Johnson, now 3-1. So Harrison's been pretty solid out of the bullpen over the last couple of starts, or over the last couple of outings, rather.
Falling in line with the rest of the bullpen also, who's been solid for Falmouth over the last couple of weeks.
Johnson fouls it away on the 3-1 count. Now it's full.
And Harrison also, we saw at earlier times in the season, Falmouth's bullpen, you'd see a guy come out, and then you wouldn't see him for about a week later. Trundy was kind of being very cautious with how often he brought them in, but we're seeing Chuck Harrison now a little bit more. He pitched on July 11th, July 15th, and now here on July 18th.
Liner on one hop to the second baseman, Curiali in the hole. Tough play for him, and it's not in time. Dom Johnson with that speed and a hard 90 as he put that ball perfectly placed in the hole of second base. And Michael Curiali, who defensively has looked a bit iffy at second base at times, really looked like that's his spot on that play. Just couldn't make the throw in time because of the speed of Johnson.
I mean, Michael Curiali did everything he could on that play. And, I mean, at that point, you just credit the speed of Dom Johnson, who's able to beat out the hustle of Curiali. A bang-bang play. To me, I thought he was out, but you've got the umpire down there who's right on top of the base to make this the call that he was safe.
Second hit of the night for Dom Johnson. One out base runner here in the sixth as he takes a decent-sized lead over at first. Couple throws from Chuck Harrison, but Johnson's back in safely. Mason Greer stands in now 1 for 2 with a single his last time up.
So how about now with Johnson reaching on that base hit? 7 hits for Hyannis and still not a single one for the Commodores.
First pitch to Mason Greer is away for a ball. Scalero has been unbelievable for Hyannis tonight on the mound. 9 strikeouts through 5 scoreless innings and just 1 base runner allowed by a walk. Johnson takes off. Pitch outside. Good throw from French. Is it in time? Not in time. Right under the tag was Dom Johnson. Harford placed the tag down, but Johnson snuck his way in, sliding into second base. That speed for Dom Johnson, really something to watch. His 4th stolen bag of the season.
but he's been able to get all the way from home to second because of his speed. First battling out the throw from Curiali and then hustling down the line there to get the stolen base. It was a good throw from Jonathan French, not too far off the bag that Harford had to go, but nonetheless, just too much. At that point, you give the credit to Johnson and just being able to beat that out.
The pitch was up and away, so it pulled French up to his spot where he'd want to throw from. Made an accurate throw, but Johnson just too quick, and now he's a big lead off second. Pitch to Greer is a strike, now 2-1. Greer transferring from McLennan Community College to Missouri State for the upcoming year. But he spent his true freshman season at Auburn and hit .300 for them before going down to the JUCO level. Now the 2-1 pitch from Harrison. Breaking ball inside, gets a swing and a miss. Good slider there from Chuck Harrison, makes it 2-2. Greer was drafted out of high school in the 2019 draft in the 37th round by the Arizona Diamondbacks before going to Auburn for his freshman season. Even in the count, 2-2. Here's the pitch. Slider grounded to the left side on a couple hops to the third baseman Taylor. Long throw in the hole. And it is in time. Good play by Braden Taylor moving to his left. But moving up to third base now, 90 feet away from scoring, is Dom Johnson. 2 outs here in the 6th.
Well, Matt, one of those productive outs there that you love to talk about. And a really impressive play by Braden Taylor. He had a really long throw to make over to first. His momentum not really taking him anywhere towards the bag. And so for him to get that strong of a throw off and also that accurate of a throw, sometimes you have to see, or you will see Chris Armstrong have to make a pick or something because the ball's low or away. But it's right on the money to Armstrong. And so Commodore is able to get Greer out by a step.
Braden Taylor, we've seen him play second, seen him play third, a little bit of shortstop in some of the drills that the Commodores do when taking ground balls, but he's really been so solid at third base defensively. Romano even in the count 1-1 here in this at-bat. 0 for 2 tonight with a couple of strikeouts. Johnson stands on third with 2 away in the top of the 6th and already a 2-0 lead. 1-1 pitch. Hit high into left field. Going back, Anthony Hall. He's got it lined up, and he makes the grab to end the inning. Chuck Harrison threw a clean 1 inning in relief. Just an infield single from Johnson, and the Harbor Hawks ran him on third base. We go into the bottom of the 6th now, and Falmouth still looking to get some kind of offense going as they trail 2-0. Bottom of the 6th, and the bottom of the order coming up. 8-9 top for the Commodores. who've only had one base runner tonight in a walk from Jonathan French. That was back in the third inning, and he'll stand in here to lead off this bottom of the sixth. French has been unbelievable against Hyannis so far this season. He fouls the first pitch back. In 3 games coming into tonight, he's 4 for 10 at the plate, average of 400. 4 runs scored, 3 RBIs, a couple of home runs, which both came at McKeon Park. Had a double and 11 total bases coming into tonight against Hyannis. So he's appeared in all 4 games against the Harbor Hawks. And now the count evens up at 1-1.
That first home run of the season for him came up at McKean Park in the team's first meeting of the summer, and it was an absolute missile off the bat of Jonathan French. And French has been, like you said, good against the Harbor Hawks. He's been a bit quieter here at home, though.
1-1 breaking ball. Misses up above the letters. 2-1 the count. French, his true freshman season in 2020, suffered a broken leg, so despite being expected to play a prominent role, he couldn't. Batted .248 in his redshirt freshman season here in 2021 for the Tigers. He's ahead in the count 3-1. Haven't been able to say that much for Commodores hitters tonight. 3-1 pitch is fouled away, and Scalero makes the count full.
French has been one of those few guys today who has been ahead in the count and has been able to get on base. The only guy to be able to reach base tonight for the Commodores after the 1-out walk back in the third, and an opportunity to try and get back on here.
So a full count to French here with no outs in the sixth, and the pitch from Scalero misses away, and for the second time tonight, Jonathan French has worked a walk.
And we still haven't seen anybody get up in the bullpen for Hyannis. They're riding out Scalero for, as of now, it seems like as long as he can go. Maybe if he continues to give up some base runners here this half inning, we'll see things change. But so far, you know, he's been cruising. Couple of walks to Jonathan French, but otherwise, the left-hander from Florida State's been about as good as you could ask for.
Harford, the 9-hitter, stands in, takes the first pitch way outside. Good stop by Proto to make the catch there. French, not really too quick on the bases, but has been aggressive at times at balls in the dirt. Harford swung at the first pitch his first time up and flied out to the left fielder, Dom Johnson. Now ahead in the count 1-0. Breaking ball fouled away to the third base side. So Scalero, this is just the second time he's had to go out of the stretch. And we're in the bottom of the sixth inning. Couple of walks for Jonathan French, and that's been it on the bases so far tonight for Falmouth. And Scalero has been solid for the Seminoles of Florida State through his 3 years there. Now ahead 1-2. Gets the year of eligibility back, so it's technically 4 years of his career that he's played at Florida State, but recognized as a junior. And the 1-2 popped up to the left side. Johnson, the left fielder, his hat flies off as he comes in, and he makes the catch in shallow left for the first out of this bottom of the sixth.
So Casey Harford now 0 for 2 with a couple of pops out to Dom Johnson in left field. In his first couple of plate appearances as a Commodore, unable to move Jonathan French. So the Commodores now are back into the same position that they were when French first reached in the third, which is on first with one gone here in the innings. So trying to capitalize every way they can, but this is where Falmouth has been a bit quieter over the last couple of games, has been these timely hits.
Boyers tries to lay a bunt down. He went around and couldn't place it down on a breaking ball. So it's 0-1 on Boyers, who bunted for a base hit last night at Harwich. And said after the game, that's a good way to break out of whatever kind of slump you're in, if you can even call it that. It's just a good way to get on base and spark something. And now he's behind 0-2, so he didn't show bunt that time as Both corners are playing back, and Harris is holding French on at first.
And in the 2 at-bats Boyers has had coming into this one and now in this one, he hasn't had too much to swing at either. Scalero's done a good job of putting pitches on the outside part of the plate, and we've seen that wide strike zone tonight from Kevin Coughlin.
Loopy breaking ball misses high. It's 1-2 now to Boyers. A couple of strikeouts tonight for Boyers. This is his third plate appearance of the night. Hit .307 at TCU in his freshman season. French with a decent-sized lead over at first, with 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. And the 1-2 pitch. Boyers takes high and away, now 2-2. Luke Boyers, a standout quarterback in high school. District long jump champion a couple times as well in track and field. Just an all-around athlete out in center field in the top of this order. Outside corner, gets him again. That's way outside, and Boyer is standing in there smiling at Coughlin behind home plate. Some shouts from the faithful here for the Commodores. But the 10th strikeout of the night for Scalero and the 2nd out of the 6th. Boyer is now down on strikes for the 3rd time tonight.
Boyers can't really do anything with that. Like I was saying before, he hasn't had too many pitches to even swing at tonight. That ball, I think it was also probably low. And so Boyers ultra frustrated that time going back to the dugout after striking out for the 3rd time tonight.
Braden Taylor stands in 0 for 2, lined out to center and struck out swinging both times. Takes a breaking ball in for a strike. He's behind 0-1. And I feel like I've been saying that all night. The breaking ball in for a strike behind 0-1. Scalero's been using that pitch to get ahead of guys and then to strike them out. It's 10 strikeouts through 5 2/3 tonight. 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball ripped out into right field. Going back Elliott, and that's over his head, and it one-hops the fence. French is being waved home from third. The throw comes into the plate, not in time. Scoring all the way from first, standing up, Jonathan French. And Braden Taylor with an RBI double cuts the deficit in half. They trail 2-1 to the Harbor Hawks. And once again, Braden Taylor coming in clutch. The first hit of the night for the Commodores. 5 2/3 of no-hit baseball for Scalero, and now it's 2-1.
There's that timely hitting that we've come to get used to with this Falmouth team. Braden Taylor coming through in a big spot here for Falmouth. Only the 2nd time tonight that Falmouth had a base runner even on, and it was French at first. And he's able to turn on the Jets and go all the way from first to home to score. And fortunate for the Commodores too that was with 2 outs because French was running on the hit. So he's able to get around to score. Braden Taylor in with another double here on the season, and just timely hitting there for the Commodores.
Braden Taylor has been unbelievable offensively and defensively, but the bat has been as good as anybody on this team. Now, 22 hits, leads the team. He's got 6 doubles to lead the team and 13 RBIs now, which is good for 3rd on the Commodores. Borfin ahead 1-0. And an entirely new ball game. As he lines the breaking ball foul into the backstop, it's 1-1. Took until 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th for the Commodores to get that first hit tonight. But Braden Taylor put a charge into right field that one-hopped against the fence and drove in a run. So took a while for the first hit, but they finally get it. Now they'll look to build upon that with a runner on second and 2 outs. Borfin grounds it the other way to the shortstop ball. In the hole from his back foot, the long throw across the diamonds in time. But the Commodores get their first hit and their first run of the night here in the bottom of the 6th. An RBI double from Braden Taylor. And at the end of 6, it's 2-1 Harbor Hawks here at the Gov. 9, 1, and 2 due up here in the top of the 7th for Hyannis, an entirely new ball game that, although it was 2-0 going in to that bottom of the 6th, it's now 2-1. But finally, the Commodores scraped their first hit across. And Harrison's first pitch grounded foul by Proto to the left side. 1 for 2 tonight. Single in the second and grounded into fielder's choice to end the 4th inning. Took so long for that first hit for Falmouth, but they'll look to build off of that now that they finally got it. Can take a deep breath and play normal baseball again. Grounded over to the shortstop Harford. Easy play for him to make. And there's one down here in the top of the 7th.
Easy play, although I think Harford may have tripped a bit as he got that ball. Looks like he's trying to smoothen out some of the dirt in front of him. So despite kind of slowly starting to tumble over, able to make the throw in time for that first out. And he's been solid tonight for the Commodores over at short. We've seen him make a couple of nice defensive plays, and I think Falmouth's got a good little combo here with both Colden and Harford that we'll see around the field this summer, or for the remainder of the summer at least.
Back at the top of the order for the Harbor Hawks, Clark Elliott takes the first pitch low for a ball. Couple of hits tonight for Elliott. He's 2 for 3 with 2 singles. Stole second as well when he got on his last time up. Hit .270 in 2021 for Michigan. Takes the 1-0 low, now 2-0. So Cody Colden getting the night off after a lot of consecutive games at shortstop. Bat is struggling a little bit, so giving him a day of rest physically and also mentally. 2-0 from Harrison. It's popped up to the right side in right center. Boyers calls off Borfin, and the center fielder hurls it in for the second out here in the 7th.
Good bit of communication between the two outfielders there for the Commodores is, like you said, Matt, Boyers calls off Borfin. And so his ball there is Borfin lets up on his trot over towards right center field. And there's now 2 gone here in the inning. A couple of quick outs for Chuck Harrison here after the Commodores able to get on the board in the bottom of the 6th.
Caden Rose 1 for 3 stands in, a single his first time up. Takes the first pitch away for a ball. Boyers out in center has been so solid defensively. And I said this in the pregame show that as a leader on the field, the captain of that outfield, so to say, any ball that's hit out there, if he calls either Hall or Borfin off, it's his. And he's going to make the play. And he's done a really good job just all around in the field, catching fly balls, making good throws to the infield, and really has a lot of range out there. We saw him make an unbelievable catch a couple of weeks ago where he just almost flew in the air and dove and caught it. This is grounded to the left side. A couple of hops to Taylor. High throw, pulls Armstrong off the bag, and he can't come down. So everybody's safe as Caden Rose able to get on first base. We'll see how that's scored. Error on Braden Taylor at third, his second of the season. He had a decent amount of time to make that play after a couple hops into his glove, but just let it go a little bit high. And Armstrong couldn't come back down on the bag in time.
And Chris Armstrong over at first is a tall guy. He stands at 6'4" over there, but that ball was just so high up that he really had to get airborne to take that ball out. And a good stop because he prevents Rose from advancing any further on the base paths.
So now here's Luke Mann for 3 tonight. Harrison steps off the mound.
But that error now, Commodores have had 4 straight games with at least 1 error, which is a little unusual for what we had seen from this team. They had really started to clean those out of their game, but lately they've kind of brought them back, and that's hurt the Commodores in a couple of ball games that they've dropped here over the last couple days.
23 errors total on the season now in the field for Falmouth. But the opponent tonight, Hyannis, with 31, leads the league. And the Commodores led the league in errors for most of the first week and a half of the season until they were able to clean it up, like you mentioned, David, and then over the last week, it's been much of the same from what we saw in the early parts of the season.
And we see them every game out there, before every game, out there taking balls from the coaches and practicing their fielding. But, Braden Taylor, a guy who's kind of moved around a couple different spots this year, tonight making the start at third, which is just his 6th game that he's been at third this summer for the Commodores. So doesn't have a ton of experience this summer at the hot corner, and that could have been part of the reason there that ball just sailed on him.
1-1 count here on Luke Mann, and the pitch from Harrison is chopped on one long hop to the first baseman Armstrong, and he takes it to the bag himself. So a couple of base runners over the last 2 innings allowed by Chuck Harrison, but he leaves them on base as the Harbor Hawks have stranded runners in 3 consecutive innings now. It's still 2-1 and time to stretch here at the Gov as the Commodores look to get some offense going again. So we go to the bottom of the 7th. Bottom of the 7th, and the heart of the order, 4, 5, and 6. Armstrong will lead things off and bat from the left side for the first time tonight, because Jonas Scalero's day is finally done, and the Commodores can be happy with that. He dominated on the mound tonight, passes the ball off to the right-hander Nolan Crisp, but Scalero went 6 innings as Armstrong fouls it away for the first pitch. Gave up 1 hit to Braden Taylor. It was an RBI double. Jonathan French was the only run that came around to score. He only walked 2 batters. Both of them were to French, and struck out 10. His count moves to 1-1 on Armstrong. Held a no-hitter through 5 2/3 tonight, Scalero did, and really has to be happy with his performance.
At the end of the day, he put his team in a position to win this ball game, and you can't ask for much more from him, but it was really impressive watching him deal tonight on the mound. I mean, at one point was able to strike out 6 straight Commodores batters, and up until the last inning hadn't allowed a base hit.
Off the end of the bat, flied out into right field. Elliott's there in the gap to make the grab to retire Armstrong, and he's now 0 for 3.
And so Scalero hands off the ball to Nolan Crisp here, his 8th outing of the season. And a guy who hasn't seen Falmouth yet this year. He's been with the team since day 1, but just hasn't pitched in any of the games yet against the Commodores. So pitches against them for the first time tonight. And a guy who has been roughed up at times out of the bullpen, 11 2/3 on the year, a 4.62 ERA. And he hasn't given up any runs in his last couple of outings.
Taylor Smith, the hitter, takes a breaking ball for a strike. Now, what's interesting is, although he's not had a decision to his record, he has a record of 0-0. His last 6 appearances, Hyannis has lost all of them. Obviously, they've lost 12 straight, but he did pitch in one of the games that the Harbor Hawks were able to win. That was against Katuitt on June 21st. So he's done as much as he can for his team to win. 1-1, Taylor Smith swings right through the fastball. In the upper 80s in terms of velocity, and it's 1-2. Crisp is the redshirt sophomore right-handers. Only 5'9" on the mound out of the University of Georgia. 22 appearances for the Bulldogs, went 1-1 with a 3.90 ERA and 1 save in 2021. And the 1-2 pitch. Fastball popped up to the right side, and that's heading for the bleachers, and it goes out of play. And Smith stays alive with 2 strikes. Crisp transferred from the University of Florida, so again, staying in the SEC. Dom Johnson out in left field, staying in the Big 12, going from Oklahoma State to Kansas State. Crisp on the mound from the University of Florida after the 2020 season. Didn't appear for the Gators. At the time, they were 16-1, ranked number 1 nationally when the season was cut short due to the pandemic. So former teammate of his, Chris Armstrong, he gets the better of in the first batter that he faces.
I mean, we were talking about earlier when you transfer schools but stay in the same conference. You know, when you go back to that school, you see old teammates and everything, but Armstrong, seeing him here.
Smith loops one out into right field. Diving is Elliott, can't make the catch, and a bloop single for Taylor Smith is the second hit of the night for Falmouth, and a 1-out base runner here in the bottom of the 7th.
Well, just the second base hit of the night for Falmouth, but it comes from Taylor Smith, who's had a good bat as of late, and he gets on here. So, again, an opportunity for Falmouth to try and do something. They had that timely hit back in the 6th with Braden Taylor picking up the RBI double to score Jonathan French. Try and do it again here.
Anthony Hall takes a strike. He's behind 0-1. So although he didn't appear at Florida in 2020, he made 21 appearances for the Gators in 2019. 6 of them were starts. He went 4-4 with 8 saves. And Hall's behind 0-2. Those 8 saves set the Florida freshman record for saves. So pretty good job by Crisp at the UF, but after not appearing in 2020, decided to transfer within the conference and go to Georgia. Check on Smith over at first, but he's back in safely.
Casey Hunt warming up in the bullpen down for the Commodores.
Pitch outside to Hall. He's behind in the count 1-2. 0 for 2 tonight, Anthony Hall is. Lined out to Kyle Ball at shortstop his first time up and struck out swinging in the 5th. Michael Curiali stands on deck should the inning continue as Hall fouls it away and his helmet flies off of his head. Breaking ball there from Crisp. His last 2 outings hasn't allowed a run. Both of them against the best team in the league in Bourne. Combined for 4 1/3 innings of just 2 hits and no runs and 4 strikeouts against the Braves over the last couple of days. 1-2 pitch to Hall is sliced foul to the left side. And the count will stay 1-2. Commodores looking to get back on track to their winning ways after winning 3 straight, then dropping 2 straight. Hyannis, different story. They've dropped 12 in a row. I can't imagine how hungry they are for a win. 1-2 breaking ball, gets away from the catcher Proto. He can't find it. Smith takes second easily, and he'll stop there. Wild pitch from Nolan Crisp makes the count 2-2, and Taylor Smith moves into scoring position with just 1 out.
So he moves into scoring position. Falmouth just needing that extra run to come home to tie this ball game. We've seen Anthony Hall have some power this year. hit some balls his way. He's kind of been up and down throughout the summer, but he's got the chance here.
He's got a lot of pop in the bat and hits the ball hard when he gets a hold of one. And he hits one hard here, down the right field line, but foul. So while it wasn't what would have probably been at least a single, maybe a double down the right field line, it goes foul, and he stays alive here with 2 strikes. Hall made 42 starts in the 50 games that he played in for the Oregon Ducks in 2021. Hit .286 as a freshman. And he's 3 for 9 coming into tonight in the 3 games against Hyannis. Still looking for that first hit here this evening. 2-2, grounds it over to the right side. Romano fields on a couple hops. Easy play for him. And now with 2 outs, Taylor Smith moves up to third. A productive out for Anthony Hall.
Well, he did his job there, able to advance Taylor Smith from second over to third with that ball being on the right side of the infield. So that gives Smith the opportunity to run and is now just 90 feet away from being that tying run here in this ball game. A really big at-bat now for Michael Curiali.
Curiali stands in 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a pop-out, with Taylor Smith the tying run on third. First pitch is outside on the corner, but called a strike, and it's 0-1. Curiali, a couple years at UCLA, hit .285 as a sophomore. And he fouls it away now behind 0-2.
And this has been the thing with Curiali as of late. He's had a lot of foul balls and is barreling up a lot of them. You know, he's making contact. He just hasn't been able to get one to fall his way in the field of play and go fair. It's either been strikeout or just get out in some other way, despite all the contact he's making at the plate.
0-2 pitch. Fastball up in the zone for a ball. Curiali still behind, but now it's 1-2. Taylor Smith on third base as the tying run, trailing 2-1 here in the bottom of the 7th with 2 down. Decent sized lead for Smith at third. And the 1-2. Breaking ball misses low and away. Count is even at 2-2. Nolan Crisp on the mound was a top 100 prospect out of high school, but he skipped his senior season to enroll early at UF. Curiali grounds it to the shortstop, ball on a couple hops. He makes a throw from his back foot and gets Curiali by about half a step. So the Commodores strand the tying run 90 feet away, and now through 7 innings, Hyannis still holds a 2-1 lead. Top of the 8th here at Gov Fuller Field. 2-1 Hyannis as they look for their 3rd win of the season, their 2nd against the Commodores. Casey Hunt on in relief out of Mississippi State for his 2nd appearance here with Falmouth. An inning at Orleans in that 11-4 victory earlier this week. No hits, no runs. He walked one and struck out one in the 4 batters that he faced. And he'll face 4, 5, and 6 here in the top of the 8th. Chuck Harrison with a couple good innings out of the bullpen. First pitch to Zane Harris misses in for ball 1. Harrison went 2 innings, just 1 hit allowed, no runs, no walks, and no strikeouts. He faced 8 batters. Harris takes on the outside corner for a strike, now 1-1.
Said it on the pregame, but if Falmouth's going to be successful tonight and down the stretch, it's going to be because of the play of its bullpen. And Chuck Harrison gave everything he could have for the Commodores. 2 innings, like you said, Matt, just 1 inning, or just 1 hit allowed, and most importantly, no runs crossed for the Harbor Hawks in his couple of innings on the bump. So he comes out, gives it off to Casey Hunt here, who had a good first outing at Orleans back on Tuesday. And Hunt just trying to continue to keep it a 2-1 score and hope that the Commodores are able to jump ahead in the last couple of innings.
Jonathan French and Casey Hunt talking on the mound. Probably running through what they want the signs to be. Just getting on the same page. Hunt, the sophomore right-hander out of Mississippi State. 6'3", 201 pounds on the mound, native of Wyckoff, New Jersey, Ramapo High School. Made 14 appearances for the national champions in 2021. 0-0 record and 4.81 earned run average. Ground ball to the right side, charging in is Curiallen. It dips under his glove as he went for it on a backhand attempt. And safe at first with nobody out is Zane Harris. It's the 3rd error of the season on Michael Curiallen. I think he probably tried or thought about making the throw before looking it into his glove.
It looked like, too, the ball took a late hop on him there, and that, I think, also got him a little tied up in the play. But I agree, Matt. He was doing a lot trying to get to that ball and just never was able to focus it into his glove.
With nobody out, runner stands on first and Zane Harris. Casey Hunt rolled up a ground ball. The first batter that he faced, but couldn't get an out of it. And now he's behind in the count 2-0 to Kyle Ball. Ball tonight, a walk and a run in the 2nd, 0 for 2 on the night. Hunt appeared in 1 game of the College World Series. In the championship series, that is, against Vanderbilt. Went 2 innings, gave up a hit, a run, and a walk, and struck out 1. That was his only appearance of the entire postseason. 2-1 misses high, and now 3-1 to Ball. So Mikey Tepper, also a member of the national champions, but didn't appear in the national championship, didn't appear at all in the postseason. Casey Hunt, though, did. So really cool for him to come onto the Cape now this summer. As Ball rips one into right center field on a couple hops into the glove of Boyers. Going first to third is Harris, and he'll get there standing up without a throw. Stopping at first with a single and nobody out is Kyle Ball, his first hit of the night.
Now Jackson Phipps starting to walk down towards the bullpen as Casey Hunt is allowed back-to-back base runners here in the 8th. And already in the late stages of this ball game, Commodores are going to need to find a way to really limit the damage here this half inning with the man who's done the only damage of the night coming to the plate.
Tom Johnson, 2-run homer in the first inning, or second inning rather, his first time up. Struck out swinging in the 4th and had a single and stole second in the 6th before being stranded on third. Jonathan French calls time. Stays in his crouch, though. Runners at the corners, nobody out. Zane Harris on third with a 1-run lead. And Kyle Ball on first after the single. Johnson 2 for 3 tonight. Hunt out of the stretch. First pitch to Dom Johnson showed bunt. Pulled it back, though, and took the curveball away for a ball. Interesting situation to try and get a bunt down, whether that's to try and move the runner ball up to second or drive in Harris from third. We'll see if he tries to get it down, and he pulls back on the breaking ball, but it's called a strike, and now it's 1-1. Could just be a distraction that he wants for Casey Hunt on the mound as well. Middle infield pinched up the middle just a bit as Braden Taylor, the third baseman, plays even with the bag. And the 1-1 pitch. Johnson not showing bunt, taking all the way on the breaking ball on the outside corner. It's now 1-2.
Good location there from Hunt on that pitch. Not something that Johnson can really connect with, and he puts it on the outside corner.
Hunt made one appearance at Mississippi State in 2020. He started a game for the Bulldogs then. Only had 15 innings in his 14 appearances, all out of the bullpen for the Bulldogs in 2021. Gave up 15 hits, 8 earned runs, 8 walks, and struck out 14. And the 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball, inside corner, called. Strike 3, got Johnson looking at the third strike of the at-bat, and there's one down here in the top of the 8th with runners still at the corners.
Big first out there for Casey Hunt because you get that first out, and now there's the opportunity, if you can get a good ground ball, to try and turn 2 and get out of this inning unscathed. So a lot more opportunities now for Falmouth after having that one out here in the 8th.
Mason Greer's 1 for 3 tonight. He stands in, righty-lefty matchup. And the right-hander goes over to first with a pickoff attempt. Casey Hunt's just been lobbing in the throw over to first, though. So might be just trying to keep the runner close in Kyle Ball, but the throws have not been competitive to try and pick him off. First pitch, breaking ball. Runner takes off late, and sliding in head first is Ball at second. First pitch was a strike from Casey Hunt, who has been dealing that breaking ball really well.
He sure has been. And I think after giving up that error and that base hit, picking up that strikeout was big for his confidence by setting down Dom Johnson.
So now the double play is gone with runners in scoring position, so the infield plays up in the grass. It's fouled away to make it 0-2. So the Commodores, who trail by 1 right now here in the top of the 8th with 1 out, will put the infield up in the infield grass to try and have any play at home if there's a ground ball. But it also might make it easier for Greer to hit a hard ball through the infield. Greer was 0 for 4 last night. Tonight, 1 for 3. Big leads on second and third for Ball and Mann. 0-2 is chopped to the second baseman, Curiale. He fields, looks at third, and tosses to first just in time for the out. That was close, but he did the right thing to look at the runner on third in Zane Harris and looked him back to the bag so nobody's able to advance. And now with 2 outs, the infield can play back with runners in scoring position.
That ball was in the air, it seemed like forever, as it went towards Michael Curiale. And it was not the best of throws from him. That was a high throw on Chris Armstrong. I think he was trying to rush it a bit because of how quickly Greer was moving down the base paths, because of how high the ball was in the air. But nonetheless, a big second out there for the Commodores.
So now 2 away here in the top of the 8th. 1-0 breaking ball misses into Romano. Now 2-0. Romano's 0 for 3 tonight out of Florida State. A couple of strikeouts and a flyout. He went 0 for 4 last night with a couple of strikeouts as well. Runners on second and third with 2 outs. It's grounded to the left side, right at Braden Taylor, and it eats him up right in the chest, and everybody's safe, and a run comes in to score. Zane Harris touches the plate standing up. Going from second to third is Kyle Ball, and safe at first is Ryan Romano. It's now 3-1 Harbor Hawks in the top of the 8th. It's an infield single and an RBI for Ryan Romano. A tough play for Braden Taylor at third. And still 2 outs now, runners at the corners for the 9-hitter Proto.
That's a tough play there for Braden Taylor. I mean, he knows that he needs to make the out to end the inning without a run coming across, and it just eats him up at third base. I mean, there's not much he can do there, just a late hop, and you just kind of have to accept it.
Tough hop on the ground over at third. And Proto, even in the count, 1-1. So now Hyannis got their insurance run and looking to add on more. As Romano on second now. And a 1-1 late swing at the changeup from Hunt. Proto's behind 1-2 with 2 outs.
But there's another example here this inning, that leadoff error coming back to bite the Commodores.
Grounded to the shortstop, Harford. Spinning throw pulls Armstrong off the bag, and it gets away from him all the way to the framing of the dugout, and 2 runs come in to score. Now moving up to second is Proto. Ball scored easily. Romano scored right after him from second, and now it's 5-1 Harbor Hawks in the 8th inning. A tough play for the shortstop, Harford, but he threw it away from Armstrong and allowed 2 runs to come in.
So that's going to be scored as an infield single for Ryan Proto, and then advancing to second on an E6 there, as that ball was just wild over to first. But 2 more runs come across, and now Falmouth behind by 4. And, Matt, these are the times that we've talked about during broadcast and in the postgame on Closing the Door, where the Commodores have really started to fall flat, is when they get behind late in ball games, or get behind by a large amount late in ball games, and then the team just kind of looks like it has no energy out there.
Well, Jackson Phipps going through a full warm-up. The left-hander is in the bullpen. But with 2 outs, Casey Hunt faces Elliott back at the top of the order. Couple of ground balls rolled up. It was an error by Curiali to start the inning. Error from shortstop Harford on the last play. And then a tough ground ball that ate up Braden Taylor, ruled as a hit. It's fouled off the mask of French, but now it's 0-2. So a lot of tough breaks for Hunt on the mound with his fielders behind him.
Yeah, a lot of tough breaks for sure. But like I was saying before, that leadoff man and Zane Harris getting on off of an E4 for Michael Curiali comes back to bite Falmouth. And that's kind of been the story. Sometimes you'll get errors in a ball game, and nothing happens as a result, but it feels like every time there's been an error on the Commodores this season, in some way it comes back to bite them.
0-2, backdoor breaking ball misses outside. Now it's 1-2. Hunt's going to ask for a new ball, but that's a good location and a good pitch for him. 3 runs scored here in the top of the 8th for the Harbor Hawks. Couple of infield singles. So Romano gets 1 RBI on that infield single. Now it's 2-2. Or Proto, rather, gets the 1 RBI in the infield single. Romano comes in to score on the error on the throw from Casey Harford at shortstop. 2-2 with a runner on second and 2 outs. Here's the pitch from Hunt. Breaking ball outside, and now the count's full.
And Hunt in danger here of losing Clark Elliott after being ahead in the count 0-2. Elliott's brought the count back full.
Jackson Phipps done with his warm-up. And the 3-2 is sliced out into left field, hooking away from Anthony Halls. He sprints over towards the line and makes the catch. Almost overran it, but able to pull it down into his glove. Hyannis scores 3 in the top of the 8th, and now they have a 5-1 lead as the Commodores come back to bat.
fans, can we please stay off the warning tracks in both left and right field? Thank you.
Bottom of the 8th, and the Commodores trailing by a bit more. Now that we go into the deeper in this ball game, it's 5-1. They trail by 4 after a 3-spot put up by the Harbor Hawks offense in the top half of the 8th. A couple of errors cost the Commodores. 3 runs come across, and now Jonathan French will lead things off here in the 8th. Hasn't registered an at-bat tonight. A couple of walks and a run scored, and he gets hit by the first pitch. So maybe he won't have an at-bat tonight. 3 plate appearances, 2 walks, and he's been hit by a pitch to lead off this 8th inning.
And when he led off the 6th, he got on via that walk, and he came around to score the only run of the ball game for Falmouth. So this is an opportunity here. I said it in the top half of the 8th, but when Falmouth has been behind late in these ball games, it just seems like the offense is flat-footed and doesn't have any life in it. But there's still plenty of time left in this ball game. And after Hartford, you're going back to the top of the lineup, which has very capable and very potent hitters. So we'll see what the Commodores are able to draw up here.
Hartford, a couple of flyouts to left field tonight. And he fists one foul to the left side on the ground. Now he's behind 0-2. Aggressive at the plate, Hartford is so far. Swung at the first pitch of his at-bat, his first time up. Swung at the first 2 in this at-bat. Starting in 47 games for Tennessee Martin, 44 of them at shortstop, and 3 is the DH. And the 0-2 pitch. Breaking ball popped up, foul to the left side. Hartford is the hardest player in the Ohio Valley Conference to strike out in 2021. He struck out once every 9.9 at-bats and only had 18 total whiffs on the season. And the 0-2 rips it on the left side, through into left field for a base hit. As French moves up to second, Casey Hartford picks up his first hit as a Commodore when it matters most here in the bottom of the 8th, trailing by 4. And now the Commodores have something brewing with runners on first and second and no outs.
Something starting to develop here for this team, and before anything can continue, time's going to be called, and we're going to get a meeting at the mound here as Nolan Crisp has given up the first 2 base runners here in the inning.
Pitching coach Ray Korn comes out of the dugout. The athletic director and head baseball coach at Elizabeth High School in New Jersey. Coached the 1990 USA Junior National World Championships and at the minor league level for affiliates of the Detroit Tigers and Chicago Cubs. So just talking Nolan Crisp through a hit by pitch and a hard hit single. So 5-1 the score, and the top of the order now coming up with nobody out and 2 runners on for Falmouth as they trail by 4. So if it's any time to do it, it's right now to try and come back in this game. Luke Boyers will stand in from the left side. He's 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts, all from the right side of the plate. All of them came against Scalero, the starting pitcher tonight for Hyannis. So Crisp out of the stretch. First pitch to Boyers. Right at the knees for a strike, and now it's 0-1. Crisp 5'9" on the mound. Boyers 5'11" in the box. The 0-1 pitch. Popped up in the infield to the left side. Shortstop ball moves back a couple of steps, makes the catch about 1 step into the outfield grass, and now there's 1 out in the bottom of the 8th.
The umpires there also signaling for the infield fly rule. Had Kyle Ball dropped that ball, but regardless, it's an out, and that's the last thing Falmouth needed because they've got runners on first and second. You now have the opportunity to turn a double play at any one of the 3 bases to get out of this inning, and so this is the man, and these are the next couple of hitters that, if it's going to happen for Falmouth, it's going to be with these guys at the plate.
Braden Taylor, an RBI double his last time up. That was the first hit of the night for Falmouth, and the first run that was brought across was because of his double. French stands on second, Hartford at first. 1 out in the 8th, trailing by 4. Taylor's reached base in all but 2 of his appearances this season. That stands true here tonight as well. 1-0 pitch. Is grounded right back up the middle. A weird hop to the second baseman, Romano. He steps on the bag. Tough throw to first in time. Could you imagine that? An inning-ending double play. 4-4-3 is the double play. And that took a weird hop off the lip of the dirt in front of the plate and went right into the glove of the second baseman, Romano. And he makes a nice play to end the inning. The Commodores strand a couple of runners on base after getting runners on first and second and no outs. And now we'll head to the 9th as they'll look to keep Hyannis scoreless in a 5-1 ball game. Casey Hunt on the mound for the 9th inning after going through the 8th inning with a little bit of trouble. An inning, 3 hits, 3 runs. None of them were earned, though. A couple of errors committed by Michael Curiale, and Casey Harford up the middle allowed those runs to come in. He had a strikeout as well. Faced 7 hitters in the top of the 8th, and now here in the top of the 9th, we'll face 2, 3, and 4 in the Hyannis order. First pitch to Caden Rose is upstairs for a ball. Couple of scores around the league. YD defeated Orleans 11-9 in a game that was just 7 innings due to darkness tonight. That's what will happen when you have 20 combined runs. Count 1-1 now. Brewster defeated Wareham 8-4. Bourne, of course, is beating Catuit 3-1 in the top of the 9th.
It's only right that they are winning.
And Chatham and Harwich tied 1-1 in the bottom of the 5th. So at some point, I was saying this last night, Bourne is going to lose or Hyannis is going to go on a win streak. Both teams trending in completely different directions. And tonight, what looks like Hyannis might hold on to pick up their 3rd win of the year. That could spark some kind of turnaround late in this season.
Well, I'll say this. The only thing right now that's going Falmouth's way is the fact that Wareham can't win a ball game. The Gatemen have now dropped 6 straight. And so what that's doing is it's keeping Falmouth in the running for the postseason because Falmouth has been losing some too.
2-2, ripped out into right field. It's tailing away from Borfin, but he grabs it for the first out of the top of the 9th.
And outside of Hyannis' 12-game losing skid, which as it currently stands would end tonight, Wareham has the 2nd longest losing streak in the league. And they're now 7-12-4 on the season. Falmouth 8-10-2. And Matt was talking a little earlier about the mod win percentage that's going to be used this year. We calculated it earlier, and Matt can run through how it all works. But as it currently stands, using that percentage, Falmouth is in 3rd in the division, not in 4th, behind Catuit.
Base hit for Luke Mann the other way. 1-out single in the 9th. So mod win percentage, because not every team's going to play the same amount of games. Falmouth, this being their 21st game of the year, is the least in the league. So they've had the least amount of chances to pick up points. So the league will use the mod win percentage now, and that factors in ties. So the mathematics behind that is wins plus half of your ties. So essentially you divide or you multiply half of your ties. So you cut your ties in half essentially, add it to your wins, and then divide that by games played to determine the modified win percentage. So for Falmouth, that would be 8 wins. And since they have 2 ties up to this point, that would count as adding 1 more to the 8. So it'd be 9 divided by 20 coming into tonight for their mod win percentage. Right now, Hyannis is on pace for the worst, to finish with the worst record, worst mod win percentage since 1967. That's when the data has been all collected back to, but they would be the worst since 2005, and they'd match or be worse than Hyannis. Their own record right now stands 736-1. They went in 2005, a mod win percentage of 170. Right now they're under 100 at 2-19 on the season. And Casey Hunt strikes out Zane Harris with a backdoor breaking ball. Now 2 away in the 9th.
Now keep in mind too that this year is one of the only years that the league hasn't gone 44 games, that we're playing 40 games, although, like Matt was saying, none of the teams are even going to end up playing 40 games because each team's had at least one cancellation during the season. So it's going to be a whole random assortment of who plays how many ball games. But regardless, that mod win percentage is a good idea, and it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out down the stretch.
So we calculated this earlier, at least for the West Division. Bourne right now is 16-2-3. So you'd have 16 wins plus the 1.5 for half of your ties. And then you divide the 17.5 by the amount of games they've played. And they are just blowing away everybody right now in the division. So you can pretty much pencil them into at least a playoff spot in the West, probably the 1 spot, because they don't seem to be slowing down at all.
And I have to assume it's not going to be too long before they're able to clinch that number 1 seed in the Western Division and for the entire playoffs. They've only got about 2.5 weeks left in the regular season, so they've already got such a big lead, especially with how Wareham and Falmouth have been playing as of late, that they could just lock it up soon.
Grounded on a couple hops to the shortstop. Harford, tough throw for him, but he gets it done. Waited for that short hop. He could have charged it for the long hop and made a tough play out of it, but able to get through the 9th inning after just 1 single. Casey Hunt retires everybody else. So we go to the final bottom of the 9th here, and the Commodores trailing by 4. So some work to be done as we go into the final frame. Backwards caps for the rally caps here for the Commodores as they trail by 4 in the bottom of the 9th. Crisp still on the mound, and his first pitch to Borfin low and away for a ball. So 3, 4, and 5 due up here in the bottom of the 9th. The Commodores are going to want a lot more than that to try and plate 4 runs. Borfin's ahead 2-0. It was an unbelievable start for Jonah Scalero. And Crisp has followed up with a pretty nice outing out of the bullpen. 6 innings, 1 hit, 1 run, 2 walks, and 10 strikeouts tonight. 5 2/3 of no-hit baseball for Scalero. As Borfin rips one on a couple of hops to the shortstop ball. Throw over to first for him. Retires Borfin. There's 1 out here in the 9th.
And just a tough night at the ballpark for Falmouth. I mean, we said coming into the game and during the game how poor the pitching had been this season for Hyannis, but tonight was an anomaly. I mean, the way they pitched tonight, they'd beat anybody in the league because that was some of the best pitching that they've had all summer.
Armstrong pops up the first pitch to the left side. Man, the third baseman goes and gives it chase, and it's onto the warning track and out of play. Dom Johnson ran up the hill over there in left field. Now he's coming out back from under the tree. Johnson, so much speed out there in left. I thought he was almost going to have a chance at that, but it bounces on that dirt path of the warning track on the left field side, and Johnson was ready to go up the hill.
I think every fly ball, too, from Johnson, he's lost his hat. That's how fast he moves. The hat just goes whoosh and goes right off of him.
Got to get an official 40-timer first or home to first to make it baseball relevant, but Johnson just a lot of speed, and he's been showing that both on the base paths tonight and in the field and left. Armstrong behind in the count 0-2 as he bats from the left side here. 0 for 3 tonight. A couple of flyouts and a strikeout. Takes a breaking ball low to make it 1-2. Commodores trailing 5-1 to the 2-19 Hyannis Harbor Hawks. 1-2 is popped up to the left side. Third baseman Mann is sprinting over there. Had some trouble in the bullpen for Hyannis and can't make the play as he slid on that really hard gravel surface out in the bullpen. Slow to get up, now limping over there towards third, but Armstrong's happy. He gets another swing with another foul ball.
I was having a game of toss over in that bullpen pregame today, and like you said, Matt, the dirt and just the surface out there is not the kind of surface that you want to slide or fall into.
1-2, grounded to the second baseman Romano. He scoops it up and tosses to first. Armstrong sprinting down the line, but an easy ground out to second base for the second out of this bottom of the 9th, and the Commodores are down to their final out of the evening.
Now batting the designated hitter, number 14.
And we can say officially now, Bourne has taken down Cotuit at 3-1. So Bourne now with its 17th win of the summer, now 37 points. Like we were saying before, points not the factor this year. Regardless, though, it's just impressive that already at this point in the season, they have that many points.
To think that Hyannis only has 4 up to this point, and they're 1 out away from their 3rd win of the season as Taylor Smith takes away for a ball. So, Hyannis defeated Cotuit in the 2nd game of the year, defeated Falmouth last time here at the Gov, and 1 out away from doing so once again as Smith looks a little fooled on the breaking ball there, swinging through it. It's 1-1.
And going to do so tonight with just 3 hits across for Falmouth. One of their lowest offensive outputs of the night or of the season. Last night only 1 run across. Tonight just 1 again, and this we have to look back, but maybe a season low for hits.
And only 3 hits across and 6 total times a runner reached base. Smith takes a breaking ball away on the corner for a strike. It's now 1-2, and Falmouth is down to its final strike. 1-2 with 2 outs as Nolan Crisp is looking for the 3-inning save. Scalero in line for the win tonight. And the 1-2 pitch. Grounded hard, foul ball down the left side into the Hyannis bullpen, and the count stays 1-2. Got a good start out of Mason Pelio despite being hit up a little bit, hit around. 6 hits in the 5 innings that he threw, but he only gave up 2 runs off 1 swing of the bat, and he struck out 6 batters. Just didn't have the run support tonight. Just have to feel bad for Mason Pelio after finally having a good start, and the offense couldn't pull for him. 1-2 is fouled away into the backstop. And once again, Taylor Smith will see another 1-2 pitch. A couple of fans still here at the Gov. It's Taylor Smith looking to keep this game alive with 2 outs, trailing by 4. It's going to take some guys to get on in a row with 2 outs, but Taylor Smith doesn't want to be the last out. 1-2 takes the fastball high, and now it's evened up at 2-2. Smith tonight, a single his last time up was a blooper into right field. He was stranded on third base in the 7th. Struck out his first 2 times up, and the 2-2 pitch. Popped up to the right side. That'll go foul. Smith putting together a pretty good at-bat here, not wanting to go down and end this ball game. These 2 teams will have 2 more scheduled meetings at least. We hope they'll be played for the rest of the season. Hyannis comes back to Falmouth on July 27th, rather. And Falmouth will head to McKeon Park for the last time on July 30th. Just a couple of weeks away from those. 2-2 pitch. Checked his swing, didn't go around, takes it low on the breaking ball. And Smith works a full count. Hyannis looking to hold on for their first win since June 30th against Falmouth here at the Gov. 3-2 pitch. Checked his swing, and he's called out on strikes anyway. Strike 3 on the inside corner, and Taylor Smith goes down for the final out. Hyannis defeats Falmouth 5-1. The second time this season that the Harbor Hawks have beat the Commodores here at the Gov, and for the 3rd time this season, Hyannis picks up a victory. They snap their 12-game skid, and the Commodores fall for the 3rd straight game.
What a night here at the ballpark for Falmouth. And after a 3-game win streak for the Commodores, now a 3-game losing streak for Falmouth. And the offense just hasn't been there for this team over the last few games. 1 run tonight, 1 run last night, 3 runs at Brewster, a game that they almost won, but ended up losing the lead late. And just, I don't know what more to say about it. They got another good start tonight from their starter. Tonight it was Mason Pelio. Went 5 innings, only gave up 2 runs, but he's going to end up getting the loss as it just wasn't enough for this Falmouth team because they couldn't muster any runs together. So with the loss, Mason Pelio now 1-4 on the season, but that doesn't do it justice because I'd put tonight's game more on the offense. But regardless, how about for this Hyannis team? I mean, a team that had lost 12 straight and had really been reeling. They come in here and, you know, despite the fact that they're not our ball team, it's still great to see smiles on their faces and that they're able to, you know, finally enjoy a win here in this long season.
So Mason Pelio falls to 2-2, but probably his best outing of the season tonight. Talk about the outing from the opponent. Jonas Scalero, unbelievable. 5 2/3 of no-hit baseball until he gave up an RBI double to Braden Taylor. Went 6 innings of just 1 hit, 1 run, 2 walks, and he struck out 10 batters. He had 7 strikeouts through 4 innings tonight. Probably the best outing we've seen against the Commodores here on the Cape this summer.
Yeah, it's definitely up there, and he had his best outing of the season as well. I mean, I haven't seen every Harbor Hawks game this season, but I'd have to take a guess that this is the best start by any Harbor Hawk all season long. You know, put together all the games they've played up to this point, and tonight was probably the best start for any one of their guys. Just lights out on the mound, struck out 10 batters in his 6 innings of work. At one point, had struck out 6 straight Commodores. He just was dealing on the mound, and his breaking ball was really effective. He got ahead in counts early, and he was able to then use that to his advantage and set down the Commodores in different ways. So credit to him and really to Nolan Crisp too, because the pitching staff has struggled all season long for Hyannis. But Crisp then comes in 3 innings of work and only gives up 1 run, gives up a couple of hits to the Commodores, but able to keep the home side at bay in tonight's game.
So the road doesn't get any easier for this Falmouth team, who has now dropped 3 straight games, and they'll head to Bourne tomorrow night to take on the league's scorching hot best team, the Bourne Braves. Then they'll be back home on Tuesday night against Brewster, a team that they are 1-1 against this season, lost a couple of days ago on Friday night. And then guess where they go again? Back to Bourne on Wednesday. So they have to face the Braves twice over the next 3 days. And the Commodores are skidding just a little bit now. 3 straight losses for them.
Yeah, well, I mean, you face the best team in the league twice. You also have to face the best team in the East once as well. Brewster at the top of the standings in the East after winning tonight. Now 13-7-2 on the season. So Brewster, Falmouth has 3 straight games against first-place teams, and you know, if Falmouth can win 1 or 2 of those, I'd consider it a success. But like you said, Matt, it's going to be really tough for the Commodores. They know Bourne well. They know Brewster pretty well because this will be the 3rd and final meeting against them, and it'll also be the 2nd meeting within a week or so. But regardless, it's going to be a tough stretch here for the Commodores. And they got to just find a way to win 1 or 2 of those because at some point, Wareham's going to start winning some games again. Katuitt is currently ahead of them and is looking good so far. So Falmouth is going to have to pick up some wins and get good starts and really going to have to bring its offense in those games.
So Jonas Scalaro, the winning pitcher tonight, he improves to 1-0. Mason Pelio gets the loss. He falls to 1-3. Nolan Crisp got the 3-inning save, his first save of the summer. Hyannis improves to 3-19 on the year. Falmouth falls to 8-11-2. And for my broadcast partner, David Hadar, our sideline reporter, Joanne Bethay, our entire crew tonight here in Falmouth, a wonderful job by everybody all around. Tough loss for the Commodores. Final score, Hyannis wins 5-1 over Falmouth, and you heard it all right here from Gov Fuller Field.